Chapter 627. Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second/Small? I will provide you with interesting novels to read. That's right, I am Night Moon, Night Sorrow. It's time for you to pay your debt. Night Sorrow said coldly. You sure talk big. Then die. A battle blade appeared in the City Lord's hand as he executed spatial fetters and charged towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow waved his reincarnation spear and executed the 7-star brilliant moon spear art. He charged towards the City Lord and said, You are the one who will die. I am here to kill. The blade aura and spear light collided, causing an intense vibration. Night Sorrow was pushed back a distance. The City Lord was a peak 3rd-grade martial saint. His chi was much stronger than Night Sorrow's. Even though Night Sorrow's body was strong, they were not on the same level. Night Sorrow, who was pushed back, waved his reincarnation spear and charged forward again. The City Lord was very strong, but Night Sorrow felt that he could still fight. Night Sorrow was pushed back again and again. However, he was not injured and was not affected much. Night Sorrow's body was very strong and the City Lord was also in a tough spot. He planned to suppress Night Sorrow, but every time they collided he would be pushed back a little. He was unable to suppress Night Sorrow. At this moment, the City Lord's mansion was on fire. Yang Lei and the rest were not to be trifled with. In just a short moment, the City Lord's guards were all killed. The god-slaying team also looted the treasury of the City Lord's mansion. Nan Liyue also collected the resources. Night Sorrow and the City Lord were fighting, and the others could only watch. It's about time. Night Sorrow muttered softly. Night Sorrow, who was prepared, immediately threw out spatial fetters. Then his bloodline ability erupted. He executed spatial rend and slashed towards the City Lord. At the same time, he followed behind the spatial rend and quickly approached the City Lord. The speed of the spatial rend was too fast. The City Lord wanted to retreat, but it was too late. He could only wave his battle blade and take it head-on. Crack! With a crisp sound, the Black-robed City Lord's warblade was shattered by the energy of the space crack. At this moment, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear had also arrived. The expression of the black-clothed City Lord changed greatly as he waved his hand to the side, intending to block Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear. At this moment, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear was using the vibrating force. Along with a strong vibrating sound, the right arm of the black-clothed City Lord was shaken off by the reincarnation spear. However, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear was also deflected by the black-clothed City Lord's move. After all, the energy levels of the two people's true chi were different, and the difference was very big. The reincarnation spear that had been deflected still pierced into the ribs of the black-clothed City Lord. Baidu search AI Go female sign Xiao, say, www.taichuxis. Coma's Night Sorrow's right arm moved horizontally, the City Lord's ribs were cut by Night Sorrow, leaving a deep wound. After heavily injuring the black-clothed City Lord with one move, Night Sorrow charged forward and struck out with the Hand of Desolation. Letting out a beastly roar, the black-clothed City Lord punched out. As the two people's arms approached each other, the black-clothed City Lord's fist showed signs of energy loss. Bang! The two people's palms collided with each other, producing a muffled sound. Night Sorrow stood still, but the black-clothed City Lord was pushed back very far. He was already heavily injured, and with the Hand of Desolation's time acceleration, the energy in his fist was depleted. Therefore, he was unable to withstand Night Sorrow's Hand of Desolation attack. At this moment, Night Sorrow raised his left hand again, and a sky-piercing spear pierced through the air, directly piercing through the black-clothed City Lord's throat. Charging forward again, Night Sorrow waved his right hand, and the reincarnation spear pierced through the black-clothed City Lord's chest. He continued to fly with the black-clothed City Lord, and then waved his arm on a wall of the City Lord's mansion that was not burned. A moment later, the words, Night Moon, Night Sorrow, I'm coming appeared again. With a shake of his arm, Night Sorrow flung the black-clothed City Lord's corpse away. At the same time, he also took the unlucky City Lord's storage ring. At this moment, Yang Lei picked up a long sword and shot it out, nailing the black-clothed City Lord's corpse to the wall. Did it go smoothly? Night Sorrow looked at the god-slaying squad gathered at the entrance of the city lord's mansion and asked. Captain, everything went smoothly. Ho Jian cupped his hands and said. The resources in the warehouse are in our hands. Nan Liyue also took a step forward. Gather at the teleportation array. Night Sorrow waved his arm, and everyone got on their mounts. Riding on his mount, Night Sorrow looked at the group of people behind him and asked again, Is anyone injured? Can you continue to fight? No problem. The members of the god-slaying squad knocked on their breastplates and answered. That's good. Ma Shizhuang, Tang Tian, Chu Ning, the three of you take it easy. Don't be too rash. Get used to the speed of battle first, Night Sorrow said to Ma Shizhuang and the other two. He was most worried about these three people. 13th Martial Uncle, don't worry. We know what to do, Ma Shizhuang said. Captain, don't worry. These three guys are very smart. They are all experts at sneaking up on us. Even if we fall, they won't fall, Nan Liyue said with a smile. That's good. Night Sorrow nodded with a smile. He was relieved that Ma Shizhuang and the other two knew how to fight and knew how to fight. After getting on the teleportation array, Night Sorrow told Ho Qingjie to dismantle the teleportation array and return to the Taiqing region. Night Sorrow and the others then started the teleportation array. Because there was no direct teleportation array, the group of people went back and forth and arrived at this city called Dragon Whisker City. After killing the guards guarding the teleportation array, Night Sorrow left two teams behind. This time, Night Sorrow left behind Ho Jian and Lei Bao. Because they swapped, the problem of consumption was not obvious. 8 genuine first threes release F. The group of people flew towards the center of the city. Ling Long and Yun Huang asked for torches and the two of them started the fire together. Everyone be careful, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, this city is easier to fight than the previous one. There's only one guy who just entered the venerable realm in the city lord's mansion. He's much weaker than the one you just killed, Yun Huang said. Caution is the parent of safety. Night Sorrow was still very cautious. When they arrived at the city lord's mansion, Yang Lei and Ling Long led their people to kill. Yun Huang's expression changed. Oh no, there's an expert here. When Yun Huang shouted, two old men flew out of the city lord's mansion. One was a level 1 venerable who had just entered the venerable realm, while the other had a cultivation that Night Sorrow could not see. Ha! I'm here to collect the harvest of resources, yet I encountered such a thing. It seems that I, Jin Sun, will be the one to do this. The old man in the golden robe laughed loudly. Night Sorrow, it's my fault. Yun Huang's expression was very ugly because he was responsible for the wrong information. This has nothing to do with you. Night Sorrow waved his hand. Yun Huang has let everyone down. Yun Huang looked at the group of people in the god-slaying team apologetically. Didn't you hear? He just arrived. What does it have to do with you? Fight. If we die in battle, we brothers will fight side by side in the next life. Ling Long waved her weapon and shouted. What will come will come. Control the nether wolves and block them. Kill one of them with all your might, Night Sorrow said to Yun Huang, who had come to his side. Yun Huang nodded and waved his arm. The roaring shadow energy behind him charged towards Jin Sun. Jin Ji, be careful. Jin Sun shouted. Chapter 628. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. When Night Sorrow rushed forward, he used Space Rend and Soul Extinguishing Slash. He wanted to kill Jin Ji as fast as possible and then face Jin Sun. This way the others would be safe. As the signature move of Night Moon Dynasty, the power of Space Rend was famous in the 9 regions. It was mainly because of its speed and high attributes, which made it very difficult to defend. Seeing Night Sorrow's Space Rend appear, Jin Ji's body flashed to dodge. He dodged to the side of Night Sorrow, mainly because he didn't want to face the simultaneous attacks of Night Sorrow and Yun Huang. Die! Night Sorrow controlled the Soul Extinguishing Slash to change the attack route and directly slashed into Jin Ji's Spirit Sea. Jin Ji was hit by the Soul Extinguishing Slash. Although his Spirit Sea didn't crack, he still suffered a serious injury. When he was absent-minded, Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear also cut his throat. This made Yun Huang's twin scimitars attack useless. 2 scimitars pierced through Jin Ji's corpse. Go help the others, kill quickly. Night Sorrow shouted to Yun Huang, turned around and rushed towards Jin Sun. At this time, Jin Sun was constantly attacking the ghost wolf. Although the ghost wolf was a soul body and was immune to most of the true chi attacks, it still suffered a lot of damage. Everyone move faster the better. Yun Huang shouted to the others. He knew that Night Sorrow could protect himself with the space-time treasure pagoda, but he was worried that Jin Sun would attack the others. Baidu search AI go female sign Xiao, say, www.taichuxis. Sim hearing Yun Huang's words, everyone fought even more fiercely. Yun Huang, who had taken Jin Ji's storage ring, also joined the battle. However, he still controlled the ghost wolf to assist Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow was under a lot of pressure. Although the ghost wolf was entangled, Jin Sun's attack was too overbearing. The pressure of the space rend was also great, suppressing Night Sorrow's speed. Jin Sun chased after Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow could only defend with all his might. Even so, he was bleeding from the corner of his mouth. The main reason was that Jin Sun's attacks were too violent, causing his internal organs to be shaken. While Night Sorrow was carrying Jin Sun, the others quickly washed the city lord's mansion with blood. All of you retreat. Same old tactic, then return to the old place and wait for me. Night Sorrow shouted at the members of the god-slaying team who had just finished massacring the city lord's mansion. Captain, we won't leave. Exquisite shouted as she rushed up to attack Jin Sun. However, Jin Sun sent her flying with a single attack and she was slightly injured. Cut the crap and back off. This is an order. Night Sorrow roared in a low voice. He knew that the others would not be able to help him. Jin Sun's attack power was too high. Fortunately, Ling Long's cultivation was higher. If the others dared to approach her, they would be instantly killed. Seeing Night Sorrow lose his temper, the members of the god-slaying squad were stunned. They were worried about Night Sorrow's safety, but if they didn't, they would be disobeying orders. Everyone back off. We have to believe in him. Yang Lei shouted. Following which, the members of the god-slaying squad retreated into the night, heading towards the teleportation array. Yun Huang also brought the injured ghost wolf with him. Worried about others? You should be worried about yourself. This lord has no interest in small fries. As long as I can kill you, it will be a great merit. Jin Sun looked at Night Sorrow, his eyes filled with brutality. It was not that he did not want to kill the members of the god-slaying squad, but he was worried that Night Sorrow would run away. In his eyes, Night Sorrow was the crucial big fish. Love go, little, sate networku, if you want to kill me, then you'll have to show me your true abilities. Night Sorrow was under a lot of pressure. Fortunately, the Void Protective Shield had a strong effect on Jin Sun's spatial binding. He was able to dodge most of Jin Sun's attacks. Night Sorrow used the dragon soaring steps to move around in the air, tangling with Jin Sun. Right now, he wanted to stall for time so that Yun Huang and the members of the god-slaying squad could leave safely. After fighting for a while, Night Sorrow felt that Yun Huang and the members of the god-slaying squad should have left. He decided to give it a try. If he could win, then he would win. If he couldn't, then he would run. When he was pushed back again, Night Sorrow used the spatial rend. Then he brandished his reincarnation spear and charged towards Jin Sun. At the same time, he stopped suppressing his void attribute true chi. Spear light burst out. At the same time, he communicated with Shao Kong and prepared to use his ultimate move. Jin Sun swung his long sword continuously. 3 ferocious sword chis neutralized the energy of Night Sorrow's spatial rend. However, at this time, the spear light from Night Sorrow's 7-star brilliant moon spear arrived in front of Jin Sun. Jin Sun no longer had the strength to use the long sword in his right hand to support his move. His left hand, covered in protective energy, punched towards Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear. Bang! With a muffled sound, Jin Sun's left hand shattered at the wrist. It was shattered by the void attribute true chi unleashed by Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear. This was the tyranny of the void energy. Almost X New Chapter 6. Section Previous. After crippling one of Jin Sun's hands, Night Sorrow controlled the space-time pagoda that had already appeared behind him and smashed towards Jin Sun. This was also Night Sorrow's most violent attack. Night Sorrow didn't use the soul extinguishing slash because he knew that the gap between the two of them was too big. Jin Sun's soul defense must be very strong. The soul extinguishing slash wouldn't be effective so easily. Therefore, he didn't use it. The space-time pagoda ascended and descended at an extremely fast speed. Even if Jin Sun wanted to retreat, it was too late. He could only swing his longsword with all his might to block the space-time pagoda's descent. Night Sorrow reached out with his left hand and grabbed the storage ring that Jin Sun was wearing on his left hand. Then, his body flashed as he charged towards Jin Sun, who was below the space-time pagoda. Suddenly, Jin Sun's longsword bounced off the ground. He then quickly retreated. As he did so, he coughed up a mouthful of blood. Although the space-time pagoda had not crushed him to the ground, it had still severely injured him. Night Sorrow controlled the space-time pagoda to stop at its original position. He then charged under the space-time pagoda. Once again, he executed the 7 stars dazzling moon spear technique, aiming for Jin Sun's chest. Damn it! The heavily injured Jin Sun bellowed. The long sword in his right hand fiercely swung, releasing a sword beam. Jin Sun's furious sword beam was extremely ferocious, sending Night Sorrow flying. The ferocious power of the sword beam caused Night Sorrow to cough up a mouthful of blood. Even his internal organs were shaken. However, Jin Sun was also unable to stop himself from being hit by Night Sorrow's spear light. He was also forced to retreat. Night Sorrow, who was coughing up blood, swung his left arm. He then controlled the space-time pagoda to smash at Jin Sun once more. Night Sorrow had no other choice. The difference between the two of them was simply too great. If he clashed with Shi Feng head-on, he would definitely get injured. Even if he seized the opportunity to launch a vicious attack, it would not work. Seeing the space-time pagoda smashing towards him once more, Jin Sun felt like going mad. Before him, Night Sorrow was clearly an ant. Yet, when Night Sorrow jumped around, Jin Sun could not hold him back. Additionally, he could not endure the space-time pagoda's continuous attacks. Helpless, Jin Sun quickly turned and fled. He did not want to face the space-time pagoda's attacks. Seeing Jin Sun turn and leave, Night Sorrow's figure flashed and entered the space-time pagoda. Next, he controlled the space-time pagoda to shrink before quickly fleeing. Night Sorrow controlled the space-time pagoda to fly across the sky and away from the battlefield. After putting some distance between them, Night Sorrow controlled the space-time pagoda to hide. After Jin Sun escaped from the space-time pagoda's attack range, he felt that something was amiss. He had already injured Night Sorrow. Even if Jin Sun relied on his speed to fight, he could exhaust Night Sorrow to death. There was no need for him to run. Chapter 629. Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second/Small? We provide you with interesting novels to read. Jin Sun flew back and forth in the air, searching for Night Sorrow's whereabouts. However, after 2 rounds of searching, he found nothing. This made Jin Sun roar in anger. He was unwilling to give up. He had suffered too much this time. Dragon Whisker City's City Lord Mansion and important buildings had been destroyed. The City Lord had been killed, and the City Lord Mansion's resources had been robbed. This made it impossible for him to answer to the upper echelons of the Golden Dragon King. Most importantly, Jin Sun's left hand had been shattered by Night Sorrow. The storage ring on his left hand contained the taxes of several cities. Now he had lost all of it. Unable to find Night Sorrow, Jin Sun stood on the charred wall of the City Lord Mansion and pondered. He could feel his storage ring, but the vague feeling made him unable to determine the direction and location of the storage ring. This situation made Jin Sun understand that Night Sorrow had not gone too far. Instead, he was hiding. However, he did not have any clue. Night Sorrow meditated and healed while communicating with Shao Kong. Shao Kong told Night Sorrow that there was no situation outside and that he could leave at any time. However, she could control the space-time pagoda to escape for a short period of time. Flying for a long period of time required the support of her master's soul power. After an hour, Night Sorrow had almost recovered. His body was incomparably strong. Ordinary attacks could not hurt him. This time, he had been injured because Jin Sun's cultivation was too high. In addition, the medicine spirit's power was very strong. It had been helping Night Sorrow recover. After recovering, Night Sorrow planned to leave. He had no intention of killing Jin Sun. Other things aside, with the support of his profound cultivation, he could not do anything about Jin Sun's speed. As long as Jin Sun wanted to run, Night Sorrow could not do anything about it. At this moment, in an inn in Taiching City, the members of the god-slaying team looked worried. They were all worried about Night Sorrow's safety. Yun Huang, what's that guy's cultivation base? Yang Lei asked. It's probably a peak mid-level venerable. If it's a late-level venerable, Night Sorrow won't be able to withstand it. He'll be killed in an instant. Night Sorrow won't be able to defeat a mid-level venerable, but it won't be easy for him to escape either. The defense of the space-time pagoda is real, Yun Huang said. For now, all we can do is wait. Our luck is really bad this time, Ling Long said. Above, New M chapter unspecified currency. Yun Huang regretted not taking out the soul-raising stone that Yun Tianlong had given him. Back then, under Night Sorrow's urging, everyone had retreated too quickly and he had not considered this problem. We have to believe in the captain, Ho Jian said. Do we need to inform Auntie Fei about this situation? Sikong Chiu looked at Yang Lei and asked. There's no need. If Night Sorrow is fine, he's already on his way back. If something happens, it'll be too late for Auntie Fei to go, Yang Lei said softly. Night Sorrow sensed a strong wind outside. He controlled the space-time pagoda and left in the direction of the wind. After flying for 50 kilometers, Night Sorrow felt that his soul power was a little exhausted. He flashed out of the space-time pagoda and released Tianyu to fly out of the city. This range was not something that Jin Sun could detect, so it was absolutely safe. After flying out of Dragon Whisker City, Night Sorrow took out a map and looked at it. He then flew towards Swallow Flight City, which was the closest city with a teleportation array. Perhaps Jin Sun could also teleport to Golden Dragon City from Swallow Flight City, but Night Sorrow felt that the chances of encountering him were very low. Besides, he had always been wearing a mask. If he took it off, who would recognize him? After using 4 days, Night Sorrow arrived outside Swallow Flight City. He put away Tianyu, changed his clothes, and wiped his face. Night Sorrow then walked into the city. Under the interrogation of the city guards, Night Sorrow said that he was doing a mission at Tianji Tower. The city guards immediately let him go. Now, no faction was willing to provoke Tianji Tower. Tianji Tower was too scary when they were angry. The previous war was a good example. Night Sorrow called for a beast carriage and walked towards the teleportation array in the city center. He was very relaxed and did not feel like he was walking in the enemy's camp. For hours later, Night Sorrow arrived at the teleportation array. After getting out of the beast carriage, Night Sorrow was stunned for a moment. He saw Jin Sun. Jin Sun's left hand was wrapped in bandages and his face was cold. He was full of resentment. Jin Sun also saw Night Sorrow. Looking at Night Sorrow's relaxed smile, Jin Sun frowned. Then, he asked the guard guarding the teleportation array to start the teleportation. After Jin Sun left, Night Sorrow took the mid-grade spirit stone and started the teleportation. His destination was Zhongtong City. From Swallow Flight City to Taiching City, he needed to transfer once. Night Sorrow was not worried about his safety. Even if Jin Sun chased after him to Taiching City, he was not afraid. If they fought in Taiching City, he could still escape. If not, he could go to Tianji Tower. Would Jin Sun dare to chase after him? He could chase after him, but that would be suicide. When he arrived at Taiching City, Night Sorrow did not see Jin Sun chasing after him. Then he left. When he arrived at Golden Dragon City, Jin Sun remembered what was wrong. Why did he feel that Night Sorrow was strange? It was because Night Sorrow's aura was the aura of the person who fought with him. Jin Sun quickly teleported back to Swallow Flight City. He took the token and asked the guard where Night Sorrow was teleporting. He quickly chased after him to Zhongtong City and asked again where Night Sorrow was teleporting. Jin Sun chased after him to Taiching City. But at this time, Night Sorrow had already left with Tianyu for a while. He could not even see his shadow. This situation made Jin Sun sigh. When he had inquired in Zhongtong City that Yi Shang had been teleported to Taiching City, he knew that the chances of catching Yi Shang were slim. The Taiching region was a chaotic place, and it was not a place where he, Jin Sun, could act presumptuously. In the inn, the group of people from the god-slaying team were like ants on a hot pan. Ho Qingjie and Lei Zheng, who were in charge of dismantling the teleportation array, had returned, but Night Sorrow had not. No, I can't wait anymore. One of you can go to Tianji Tower to report Night Sorrow's situation. I'm going to Dragon Whisker City. Yang Lei could not wait any longer. She could not wait for Night Sorrow to be in danger. She had to continue waiting. Ninth Senior Sister, this is not your problem alone. We have to think about what to do. Being rash and impulsive won't solve the problem. Nan Liyue pulled Yang Lei back. He's back. At this time, Yun Huang walked out of the inn's door. His ghost wolf sensed Night Sorrow's aura. After putting away Tianyu, Night Sorrow tidied his robe and walked into the inn. You bastard, you worried us to death. Yang Lei went forward and punched Night Sorrow. Sikong Chuyu's eyes were also filled with tears. It's okay, I'm fine. Night Sorrow hugged Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Then he led everyone into the courtyard that they had booked in the inn. What was the result in the end? How did Captain escape? Ling Long asked excitedly. Seeing Night Sorrow escape safely from a mid-level venerable, Ling Long's curiosity was piqued. Chapter 630. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? I'll provide you with interesting novels to read. Captain, you're too low-key. I know it's not that simple. Love go little. Too Exquisite glanced at Yi Shang and said. She knew that this was Yi Shang. He was not ostentatious, but when it came to touching matters, Yi Shang would say them like cold water. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, It's simple. We fought and scared him away, Night Sorrow said with a smile. This is the storage ring of that unlucky city lord. Yun Huang took out Jin Ji's storage ring and placed it in front of Night Sorrow. Yun Huang, what's wrong? You don't seem to be in a good mood. Night Sorrow looked at Yun Huang and asked. He felt that Yun Huang's mood wasn't right. Night Sorrow, it was my negligence this time. Also, I should have taken out my old man's soul-raising stone. It's not that I didn't want to, but it was too urgent at that time and I forgot, Yun Huang said to Night Sorrow. Just because of this? You're feeling down because of this? Let me ask you, do we need to rely on our ancestors? They can help us once, but how many times can they help us? It's more reliable to rely on ourselves. Besides, am I that weak? Night Sorrow said as he patted Yun Huang's shoulder heavily. All right. Hearing you say that, I feel a little more at ease, Yun Huang said. You can just give the storage ring to Liyue. Liyue, give Yun Huang the rewards according to the ratio. Night Sorrow threw the storage ring to Nan Liyue. Okay, actually I'm already prepared. Nan Liyue nodded and opened the storage ring. After organizing the resources, she took out a small bag of spirit stones and handed it to Yun Huang. Night Sorrow, this is boring. We're brothers. I fight for my brothers, not for resources. Yun Huang directly opened the bag of spirit stones that Nan Liyue handed over. Night Sorrow stood up and extended his hand toward Yun Huang. That's fine too. Now, I formally invite you to join our god-slaying squad. Do you want to join? Brother, if you say so, how can I not give you face? Besides, this group of brothers is not bad. Night Sorrow reached out and shook hands with Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow said to Nan Liyue, that's good. Let's rest here first. Liyue, help me look around and see if there are any suitable mansions. I'll buy one and set up a teleportation array there. Captain, I'm afraid that won't do. Our team has abundant medicinal pills and a lot of mid-grade spirit stones. However, we don't have enough high-grade spirit stones to buy a mansion in Taiching City. Love go little, say, Kunan Liyue smiled bitterly. Yes, It costs a lot to buy a mansion in Taiching City. Without a few hundred high-grade spirit stones, you won't be able to get it. But I can pay some. Yun Huang said. Hee, Night Sorrow has no problem with this. He's a rich man. Buying a few mansions isn't a problem for him. Li Yue, you just have to pick a good one. Pick one with a large area. Yang Lei said. Yes, don't worry about the price. Buy it and use it as a stronghold for the Night Moon dynasty. Find one with a large area. Night Sorrow said. We don't lack money. There's nothing we can't do. Li Yue and I will go later. Captain, can you tell us how you got away? Ling Long was still thinking about the battle between Night Sorrow and Jin Sun. I'm injured, but he suffered a bigger loss. I chopped off one of his hands and took his storage ring. However, I need to refine it slowly. His soul imprint is stronger. Night Sorrow took out Jin Sun's storage ring and said, Captain, you chopped off one of his hands? Ling Long asked in surprise. Yes, but I didn't have it easy either. His attacks damaged my internal organs. His left hand is gone, so I'm a little scared. I can't compare with him. His cultivation base is deep and he's fast. If he wants to fight, he can run. If he wants to run, he can run. I just took advantage of him and ran back. Are you satisfied with the details? Night Sorrow said with a smile. I regret it. If I knew that Captain could win, I wouldn't have run. Ling Long said regretfully. Let me emphasize this once. In the future, when we fight, you must obey my orders. If I say retreat, then retreat. If you have any more doubts, then I won't bring you into battle again. Yi Sorrow looked very seriously at the group of people as he spoke. Captain, it's not that we don't want to follow your orders. Back then, you were in too much danger. Ho Jian said. He couldn't kill me back then, right? But what would have happened if he had charged into our team? Would we have been wiped out? Night Sorrow looked at Ho Jian and roared. I understand. It won't be like this next time. Ho Jian nodded. I know you're doing this for my own good, but I'm the captain. I can't watch my brothers' lives be threatened. Night Sorrow sighed. In the future, we'll just follow orders. Shouldn't we drink to celebrate? Yun Huang said with a smile. Night Sorrow nodded. We have to drink. We leveled 2 city lord mansions. The results are good. We should have a lot of resources. Captain, these are teleportation crystals. Lei Zheng and Ho Qingjie stepped forward and handed 2 teleportation crystals to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow took out 20 top-grade spirit stones. These 2 teleportation crystals are relatively small. They can only be used to create 2 copies. I'll give these resources to the team. Captain, it's not appropriate for you to do this. How many pills have you given to our brothers? At that time, everyone was using your pills for nothing. Captain, you need these teleportation crystals, but they're useless to us. Captain, just take them. Moreover, without you at the front, we wouldn't have been able to do such a thing. We wouldn't have been able to snatch the resources, Ho Jian said. Yes, Night Sorrow, you're not doing this. However, you're taking out 20 top-grade spirit stones just like that. Captain, you're not a fake. Why don't you take me in too? Ling Long said with a smile. Looking at Ling Long, Night Sorrow shook his head helplessly. You said that pretty boys aren't your cup of tea, but my face is paler. Today, I'll provide good wine. Let's drink. After that, Nan Liyue went to the inn to order some dishes and the group happily drank some wine. After drinking, Nan Liyue and Ling Long went to buy a mansion. Night Sorrow also returned to his room. Night Sorrow, you can't do this in the future. I'm so scared. After entering the room, Sikong Chuyu hugged Night Sorrow's waist and cried. She had been suppressing her emotions in front of others. Now, she couldn't suppress it anymore. That's right. You scared us to death this time, Yang Lei said. It's my fault. Chuyu, don't cry. Actually, you don't know the power of the space-time treasure pagoda. I'll show you. You won't have to worry about me in the future, Night Sorrow said as he patted Sikong Chuyu's back. Then, Night Sorrow showed Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu how he entered the space-time treasure pagoda. You can do this? In other words, as long as the space-time treasure pagoda isn't refined, you'll be safe, right? Sikong Chu asked as she held Night Sorrow's hand. Yes, the space-time treasure pagoda is my treasure. How can others refine it? Night Sorrow said with a smile. Chapter 631. Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second/Small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Yes, I'm imprisoned. They can slowly deal with me, but you can call for reinforcements, Night Sorrow said with a smile. In fact, Night Sorrow was not telling the truth. Saints could refine holy treasures. In the past, Jiyu Haitian did not touch the space-time pagoda because he did not want to kill Shao Kong. Spirit treasures and holy treasures without artifact spirits would be much weaker. Actually, Jiyu Haitian's strength is not enough to refine me. I resisted for a while that time, and I didn't feel much pressure. Shao Kong's voice sounded in Night Sorrow's mind. So, ordinary saints can't hurt you? Night Sorrow asked. It's very difficult to refine me without high-level attributes. However, if they want to attack you in the pagoda, there are still ways. For example, soul attacks, law attacks, and so on. I'm saying this to remind you that the space-time pagoda is not invincible unless your cultivation level increases and you can completely control it. Shao Kong and Night Sorrow conversed. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood that his own strength was the absolute truth. Why are you nodding? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Haha, I'm talking to Shao Kong, Night Sorrow said with a smile. Yang Lei and Sikong Chu smiled at Night Sorrow. They felt at ease. They felt that with the space-time pagoda protecting him, Night Sorrow's safety was not a problem. How's the soundproofing here? Night Sorrow looked at the two girls and asked with a smile. Are you going to do something naughty? Fortunately, Vian thought about this. The rooms here have soundproofing and detection arrays, Yang Lei said with a red face. Yes, I miss Ninth Senior Sister and Chuyu. Night Sorrow nodded and reached out to hug Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Then Senior Sister will be satisfied. Yang Lei nodded. Sikong Chuyu blushed and didn't object. Night Sorrow used his arms to carry Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu onto the bed. Then, he took off his robe and jumped onto the bed. At this time, the two women were very familiar with each other and did not care about each other's opinions. They were able to let themselves go. While cultivating and combining their cultivation methods, they also gave Night Sorrow all kinds of shocks and enjoyment. After tossing and turning for half a day, the three of them finally took a bath and began cultivating. As the sun set, the three of them walked out of the room. Nan Liue and Ling Long also came back. The two of them looked at the three larger mansions. There are so many mansions for sale in Taiching City now? Night Sorrow asked in surprise. He felt that a mansion shouldn't be easy to buy. He had spent a lot of effort to buy a mansion in Dongxian City. Then I'll tell you the truth. Two of them were originally the mansions of the core members of the Night Moon Dynasty. They were occupied by the Tianfeng Dynasty, but how can they live in peace? So the price is relatively low and they are in a hurry to sell it. Nan Liue said. Let me ask, the mansions used to belong to the Night Moon Dynasty. Can they get the official deeds? Night Sorrow's eyes were filled with anger. Sigh, if there's someone in the City Lord's mansion, they can still get a new deed if they say that they lost it. Nan Liue said. Then what's the cultivation of the people who occupied the mansions? Night Sorrow exhaled and asked. They're all beginner venerables. It's probably because the old people of the Tianfeng Dynasty aren't willing to live there. Because they don't feel comfortable living there, they rewarded the new members of the Venerable Realm. The Night Moon Dynasty has revived and the entire Taiching City knows about it. So these two new venerables of the Tianfeng Dynasty don't dare to live there and are in a hurry to sell it. Ling Long said and explained the situation in detail. Not only do I want the mansions, but I also want their lives. How about this? Yun Huang and Ling Long go to make the trade. I want to kill them. Night Sorrow directly said his plan. That's fine too. The manager of the first mansion is a skinny first-level venerable with a goatee. You can tell at a glance. The manager of the second mansion is a curly-haired man. You can tell at a glance that he's a descendant of a different race. Ling Long explained the situation of the two mansions. Let Ho Jian and the others make the trade. The ghost wolf has almost recovered. When the time comes, I can cooperate with you. That way, we can end the battle quickly. Yun Huang said. Knight Sorrow nodded and called Ho Jian over. He told him his plan. Then, everyone discussed and waited for tomorrow to act. OA unique 0 positive I version, plus its O is D steal the Ek version. Knight Sorrow, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chuyu had a crazy night. In the morning he practiced his spear art for a while. Ling Long, Nan Liue, Ho Jian, and Yun Huang went to Knight Sorrow's place. Everything is ready. Let's set off. Knight Sorrow said. Ho Jian, Ling Long, and Nan Liue were in the front. Knight Sorrow, Yun Huang, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chuyu were behind. The two women had put on their veils. In the world of cultivators, there were some women who wore a veil. Ho Jian acted like a young master and signed a contract with the other party in a very generous manner. The deal was completed for 300 high-grade spirit stones. When the original owner of the mansion was sent out with 2 servants, Nan Liue, who was following behind, made a hand gesture, indicating that it was time to act. Knight Sorrow and the others didn't act immediately. It wasn't good to be too close to the mansion. That would bring instability to the mansion. When the man with a goatee arrived on the street, Knight Sorrow waved his hand. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu blocked his escape route. Yun Huang commanded the ghost wolf to block the man's escape route. Knight Sorrow first used the soul extinguishing slash. Then, he used the 7-star glorious moon spear. Elementary Supremes weren't Knight Sorrow's opponent. With the interference of the ghost wolf, the man was killed by Knight Sorrow's soul extinguishing slash. His spirit sea was then split open. Knight Sorrow rushed over and stabbed the man's forehead. The inside of the man's head was shattered. Then he took the man's storage ring. They didn't kill the man and directly left. Too fast. All of this happened in a flash. By the time someone noticed, Knight Sorrow and the others had already disappeared without a trace. After circling around, they met up with Ling Long, Nan Liue, and Ho Jian at the newly bought mansion. This mansion can't be used for the time being. It will still be noticed. Also, don't buy the mansion that used to belong to the Night Moon dynasty. Liue, go buy a few servants to take care of this place. Don't let our people come here. After that, go buy the mansion that has no problem. After thinking for a moment, Knight Sorrow made the arrangements. The main reason was that he didn't want to be noticed. That would only bring trouble to himself. Captain, don't worry. Everything will be done today. Nan Liue nodded. Then go and do it. After you're done, go to the inn and call everyone. We'll move there and see if it's safe. If it's safe, set up a teleportation array. It will be more convenient in the future. Knight Sorrow threw the storage ring to Nan Liue. Then he left with the 2 girls and Yun Huang. Chapter 632. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. In the afternoon, Nan Liue and Ling Long finished their business. They bought a large mansion not far from the Tianji Tower. It was about the same size as the Qingxin courtyard, but the price was more than twice. Fortunately, Knight Sorrow's family was big and didn't lack spirit stones. Nan Liue also returned the extra spirit stones to Knight Sorrow. Baidu search AI go female sign Xiao, say, www.taichuxis.com. In addition, Nan Liue also bought a group of servants. She left some in the first mansion and brought the rest to the current one. Knight Sorrow felt that this place still needed a butler. While eating, Knight Sorrow mentioned this matter. This is simple. My uncle used to do business. Now that he's tired, he's resting at home. It's suitable for him to be the butler, Xue Fei said. Then what are we waiting for? Once we're done eating, Xue Fei, you run over and bring them here. Ling Long, you help me. It's not convenient for Xue Fei to take the teleportation array by himself. Yishan said to Ling Long, okay. I can take him to the eastern Shen region very quickly. I can take the strategic teleportation array directly. But I can't take it back. I won't take the strategic teleportation array with others, Ling Long said. She trusted her teammates, but she wouldn't trust someone she wasn't familiar with. Tianji Tower's strategic teleportation array was a very important secret. Don't worry. You guys can take your time. Thank you for your hard work, Night Sorrow said. After dinner, Ling Long and Xue Fei set off for the eastern Xian region. Liue, I'll leave the matters in the mansion to you. First, we need to build a stable small palace. I'll set up the teleportation array, Night Sorrow said to Nan Liue. Nan Liue nodded. She understood that Night Sorrow trusted her. Also, I'm going to be away for a while. Ho Jian Xueling, I'll leave the god-slaying squad to you too. Yun Huang, since you've joined, you should be more serious. See if there's anything the others need help with. It might not be much to you, but it could be a life-saving opportunity for the others, Night Sorrow said, looking at Yun Huang. Since we're all brothers, there's nothing to say. Just go and come back quickly. Yun Huang nodded at Night Sorrow. Right now, he had acknowledged the god-slaying squad from the bottom of his heart. That won't be fast. I'm flying to Night Moon City. It won't be easy to set up a teleportation array back and forth, Night Sorrow said. After that, Night Sorrow drank a pot of tea with Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Then, he rode Tianyu out of the Grand Clarity region and headed towards Night Moon City. The quality of a teleportation crystal, which was also a spatial crystal, determined the teleportation distance. Currently, Night Sorrow only had beginner spatial crystals. Teleportation arrays could not cross too far distances. Look at the original version D Chapter 7 End Section L upper MW. There had to be a teleportation array between Grand Clarity City and Night Moon City. Night Sorrow could confirm the location. The main issue was safety. Setting up a teleportation array in the enemy camp was asking for trouble. It could also be easily destroyed in the wild. Therefore, Night Sorrow planned to listen to Yi Linglan and Yi Lingyuan's suggestions. After all, when it came to understanding the Night Moon Dynasty's territory, Night Sorrow was almost a noob. Riding Tianyu at full speed, Night Sorrow took more than 20 days to reach Night Moon City. When he arrived at Night Moon City, Night Sorrow called Yi Linglan and Yi Lingyuan over and told them about setting up a teleportation array. Young Master, there's a suitable location for the teleportation array. Yuexiang City is very suitable. It's a relatively remote place. In the past, it was a sacred place for the Night Clan members to play. Because it's relatively hidden, it wasn't affected by the war, Yi Linglan said. Also, I can set up a few more teleportation arrays. Now let's see which one needs to be connected to Night Moon City, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow had quite a few teleportation crystals. He already had 7 of them. Currently, the cities that need to be restored are Wuyo City and Wuemo City. Don't set up the other cities for now. If we get ambushed, we'll suffer heavy losses, Yi Linglan said. Alright, after setting up the teleportation arrays in Night Moon City, Wuyo City, and Wuemo City, we'll go to Yuexiang City, Night Sorrow said. Then, Yi Lingyuan went to arrange the construction of the teleportation hall. No matter which faction it was, teleportation arrays were the most important. Night Sorrow and the others also attacked the teleportation arrays first. That way, no matter whether they advanced or retreated, they wouldn't have to worry about the enemy calling for reinforcements. After communicating with Yi Linglan, Shi Feng returned to his mansion to rest. 2 days later, Yi Linglan and Yi Lingyuan arrived at Night Sorrow's mansion. Young Master, the teleportation hall has been completed. Alright, we'll set it up now. This way, transportation will be more convenient and the reconstruction of Night Moon City will be faster, Night Sorrow said as he stood up. Then, Night Sorrow set up the teleportation array in the new hall in the center of Night Moon City. He used the largest teleportation crystal in Night Sorrow's possession. Night Sorrow had split this teleportation crystal into 3 parts. In other words, it could connect to Wuyo City, Wuemo City, and Yuexiang City. Currently, we don't have a large teleportation crystal. This is the only way. Night Sorrow sighed. After all, a large teleportation crystal was too rare. After setting up the teleportation crystal, Night Sorrow took out the teleportation crystals that he planned to use in Wuyo City and Wuemo City. He cut them and embedded them in the slot of the teleportation array. This way, when they reached Wuyo City, they could teleport back directly after setting up the teleportation array in Wuyo City. Following which, the 3 of them arrived at Carefree City. Even though Carefree City was very close to Yeue City, Just over 2,000 kilometers away, Yishan felt that it was better to set up a teleportation array as it would be more convenient. Gu Jun, who had received Yiling Yuan's order, had already brought people to fix up the teleportation hall. Night Sorrow's speed in setting up the teleportation array was very fast. In less than an hour, it was done. After the teleportation crystal was set up, Night Moon City and Carefree City were able to teleport to each other. Uncle Gu Jun, now that Wuyo City is officially in the recovery stage, there will be more teleportations. Here are the mid-grade spirit stones. Please keep them well. Night Sorrow gave Gu Jun a storage belt. Thank you, young master. Gu Jun bowed. Enforcer Gu, repair Prince Wuyo's residence. Also, young master must have a place to stay in Wuyo City. Yi Linglan instructed Gu Jun. Then, the group arrived at Wuemo City. Wuemo City was the third son of the Moon Emperor, the descendant of Night Divine Thunder. It was Prince Wumo's fief. After Night Sorrow set up the teleportation array, the citizens of Wuemo City bowed to greet him. Who's in charge here? Night Sorrow asked. I'm Yi Xiaoyun. I'm currently the deacon here. A middle-aged woman bowed to Night Sorrow. Night Moon citizens have been through the flames of war, but they are still unyielding. It's not easy to stay here. Here are some spirit stones. Take them and distribute them to everyone. Leave some for teleportation. Night Sorrow threw a storage ring to Yi Xiaoyun. Thank you, young master. Yi Xiaoyun knelt on one knee. She was from the Yi clan and had been staying in Wuemo City because she believed that Night Moon could rise again. Now she saw hope. There's no need for this. We are all Night Moon's descendants. It's only right for us to work hard for the family. Night Sorrow waved his hand and helped Yi Xiaoyun up. Chapter 633. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go/Little? We provide you with exciting novels to read. Night Sorrow felt that time was tight because he still had to deal with the other dynasties. Only by causing them endless trouble would they have no time to cause trouble for Night Moon City. It was true that there were troops from the Yun dynasty stationed outside the Night Moon dynasty, and they also had Yun Tianlong's ruler's token. However, these dynasties had no bottom line. Who knew if they would make a move secretly? This was also the problem that Yishang was worried about. There were also supremacies in Night Moon City, but they were all beginner supremacies. As long as the other party sent a high-level supremacies, the managers of Night Moon City would all be slaughtered. The 3 teleportation arrays in Night Moon City were set up. Night Sorrow rode Tianyu and Yi Linglan to Yuexiang City. As for Yi Lingyuan, he had to stay behind to preside over the situation. Now that more and more Yi clan members were returning, he had to make arrangements. Yi Linglan was a supremacy, so his speed was faster than Night Sorrow's riding Tianyu. Therefore, they didn't waste much time and arrived at Yuexiang City in 10 days. Yuexiang City was in the middle of the wilderness and didn't interact with anyone outside. It also wasn't affected by the flames of war. It was considered a rare paradise left behind after the war. The people who lived here were all Yi clan members. The city lord was a thin old man who seemed to have experienced the vicissitudes of life. His name was Yi Lingnan, and he was from the same generation as Yi Linglan. However, he was also from a side branch. Baidu search, love, go, xiao, shua, www.paitrus. Sim. After listening to Yi Linglan's introduction, Yi Lingnan bowed to Night Sorrow. When we found out about what happened back then, the war had already ended. Also, we don't have any supremacies here, so we can only live an ignoble life. We can't take revenge. Please forgive us, young master. Senior, you're thinking too much. I'm from Night Moon, and I'm just doing my best for Night Moon. Right now, we're planning to build a teleportation formation here to connect Taiching City and Night Moon City. Night Sorrow explained his intentions. This is the only pure land left in the Night Moon Empire. If we set up a teleportation array here, the flames of war could easily reach this place. Yi Lingnan hesitated for a moment before speaking. He was very worried that Yuexiang City would be dragged into the war. Night Sorrow sighed. He could understand Yi Lingnan's worries, but he was still a little disappointed. Elder Linglan, are there any other choices? Or we can choose the wilderness and mobilize the guards from Night Moon City to guard it. You're very disappointing, young master. Then I'll place you in the wilderness. Yi Linglan glanced at Yi Lingnan, feeling a little dissatisfied. He knew that Night Sorrow was disappointed at this moment. Night Sorrow turned around and walked out of Yuexiang City. After taking a few steps, Night Sorrow turned his head back. The people of Night Moon are all strong. There are only souls who died in battle. There are no people who are afraid of death. Looking at Night Sorrow's back, Yi Lingnan wanted to say something. However, before he could say anything, Night Sorrow rode on Tianyu and Yi Linglan and left. They don't deserve to be from Night Moon, Yi Linglan, who was flying beside Night Sorrow, said. It's nothing. Everyone has their own ambitions. However, if Night Moon continues to be glorious, it has nothing to do with them. Night Sorrow was very calm at this moment. He wasn't angry at all. After that, Night Sorrow and Yi Linglan found a relatively safe canyon in the wilderness. At the end of the canyon was a very large cave. The cave was made of green rocks and was very clean and tidy. The main canyon was at the peak of a mountain. Not far from here was a large lake. The scenery around the mountain peak was very beautiful. It was also very suitable for defense. This place is not bad. We can even build a small city around it. In terms of style, it's not inferior to Yuexiang City. In fact, it's much better than Yuexiang City, Night Sorrow said. Indeed, this place is not bad. There are lakes and rivers around the mountain peak. After the teleportation portal is built, I'll go back and bring people here to build it. Yi Linglan also felt that this current stronghold was not bad. Alright, the construction is almost done. Our god-slaying squad can also set up camp here. It's just a matter of teleporting once. It's not very troublesome. Night Sorrow felt that this place could be a good small city after some construction. It could be the base of the god-slaying squad. Then, Night Sorrow set up a teleportation portal in the cave at the end of the canyon. After the teleportation portal was completed, Night Sorrow embedded a clone of Night Moon City's teleportation portal. Elder Linglan, you can teleport to Night Moon City now. Elder, bring this clone over and insert it into the card slot of Night Moon City's teleportation portal. Then you can teleport to each other. Elder, bring more people here and build this place. Here are some mid-grade spirit stones. Night Sorrow handed over the teleportation portal to Yi Linglan and took out a storage belt. Young master, you've been tired. How about this, young master, you stay here and guard. I'll come over later. Yi Linglan didn't argue. He took the teleportation portal and the storage belt. He had been cultivating bitterly all these years. He didn't have much wealth, so he didn't have any spirit stones to teleport. After Yi Linglan left, Night Sorrow sat at the entrance of the cave. He took out a jar of wine and slowly drank. He knew that this place was no longer an ordinary canyon. If Night Moon City rose again, this place would become a very important place. It would no longer be as desolate as it was now. 2 hours later, Yi Linglan appeared with a group of guards. There were also many workers who were slowly teleporting over. Elder Night Sorrow, I won't care about the matters here. I'm going to Night Moon City to set up the teleportation portal. Night Sorrow walked to the edge of the teleportation portal and inserted a teleportation crystal into it. Okay, young master, don't worry about Night Moon City. There won't be any problems. Yi Linglan nodded. When this teleportation crystal shines, you can teleport to Taiching City. Night Sorrow said. He realized that he had made a mistake this time. If Night Sorrow had set up a teleportation formation in his mansion in the Grand Clarity domain and brought his avatar here, he could have teleported back immediately without having to travel for more than 10 days. After explaining, Night Sorrow rode on Tianyu and left. The mission this time was completed perfectly, so he could return to Taiching City. As long as he set up the teleportation array in Taiching City, he could go to Taiching City to exchange for various resources on Night Moon City. Only, and one, official E version. Square root, its D chi underscore are all E, pirated B version caret underscore. Sitting on Tianyu's back, Night Sorrow began his cultivation. The improvement of his true chi cultivation base was relatively slow. During this period of time, Night Sorrow had been working very hard. However, he had only reached the mid-void inquiry stage. After sensing the Void Dao stone on his waist, Night Sorrow discovered that the human figure inside had already grown to the size of a human head. It was still absorbing the energy of the Void Dao stone to improve itself. Satisfied with the progress of the Void Dao stone, Night Sorrow continued to meditate and cultivate. His main focus was on the power of his soul and the power of his bloodline. His true Qi cultivation base needed to be improved steadily. He was cultivating the Myriad Dao treasure book with the crystal of the profound turtle. When they set up camp again, the silver fox entered seclusion. Night Sorrow had been paying attention to the cultivation of Tianyu and the silver fox. He would definitely not keep them in his beast-taming space if he didn't have to. Tianyu and the silver fox's cultivation base also improved rapidly. The silver fox was currently trying to break through to the 9th level of the spirit severing stage. Looking at Tianyu, Night Sorrow discovered that Tianyu was not far away from the 8th level of the void inquiry stage. Looking at the silver fox breaking through quietly, Night Sorrow asked Tianyu to be on guard while he continued to meditate and cultivate. Night Sorrow felt a little pressured by Ji Yuhao's formidable combat power. The attribute of time was too strong. It was very difficult for Night Sorrow to fight against him without breaking through to the Venerable Realm. Even if he did, it would be very difficult for him to defeat Ji Yuhao. Chapter 634. Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second/Small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow cultivated for a whole night. Silver Fox also successfully entered the peak of the spirit severing stage. He brought Silver Fox to Tianyu's back and continued their journey. Yi Shang cultivated as he hurried back. It took him 10 days to return to his residence in Supreme Clarity City. A special attic had been built in the mansion. It looked like an ordinary attic, but it was absolutely sturdy. Even a beginner honorable could not break it. After Night Sorrow entered, he set up a teleportation formation and placed the teleportation crystal in the canyon on top. When the teleportation crystal in the slot lit up, Night Sorrow knew it was done. Then Night Sorrow set up a few illusion formations outside the attic. If someone barged in, they would get lost. Did it go well? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Very well. We can teleport to Night Moon City at any time. In addition, we plan to build a small city in the middle. I've decided to move our base there, Night Sorrow said. Okay, we'll go there later, Ho Jian said. Yi Shang, you don't know, but the value of your head is heaven-defying. Several dynasties have placed a bounty on your head. Anyone who obtains your head will be rewarded with a spiritual artifact-grade weapon, a set of spiritual artifact armor, 30 supreme-grade spirit stones, and 30 drops of spiritual essence liquid. Ling Long smiled at Yi Shang. Want me? They're quite ruthless. But it doesn't matter. If they're not wanted, they'll risk their lives. If they're wanted, they'll risk their lives. We'll deal with them later. Night Sorrow did not care about their bounty because it was the same whether they were wanted or not. Then Xue Ling and Xue Fei brought an old man. The old man was Xue Fei's uncle, Tan Dong. Xue Fei's surname was Tan, and Xue Fei was a code name. Young master. Tan Dong bowed to Night Sorrow. You don't have to be like this. Just call me Night Sorrow. Since you're Xue Fei's uncle, I'll call you Uncle Tan. Uncle Tan will take care of this mansion in the future. Night Sorrow helped Tan Dong up. Okay, young Master Yi, don't worry. Tan Dong's attitude was still very humble. Uncle Tan is not a servant. We asked him to help us. Later, we have to explain it to everyone in the mansion, Night Sorrow said to Nan Liu. Everyone had a drink together. When they returned to their rooms to rest, Night Sorrow thought for a while and made a few small magic treasures called the Yin-Yang Thunder Array. It was an array diagram carved on a special thunder attribute mineral. It was a mechanism. As long as the Yang Thunder was crushed, the Yin Thunder would explode within 200 feet. Night Sorrow made a total of 3 pairs. He called Nan Liu, Tan Dong, and Xue Ling to the attic where the teleportation array was. I made 3 pairs of Yin-Yang Thunder Array. It's not very powerful, but it can destroy the teleportation crystal in the card slot. If we're attacked here and can't withstand it, we'll have to destroy the teleportation crystal in the card slot. This will protect the next teleportation point. Then, Night Sorrow gave 3 Yang Thunder Array tokens to Tandong, Nenliue, and Xueling. Then, he hid 3 Yin Thunder in the teleportation array. Thank you for your trust, young Master Yi. Tandong bowed to Night Sorrow. It's nothing. Sometimes when we're not around, Uncle Tan has to worry about the safety of this place, said Night Sorrow. After the arrangements were made, Night Sorrow returned to a pavilion in the corner of the mansion. Over the past few days, Sikong Chuyu, Yang Lei, Nen Liyue, and the others had hired craftsmen to clean up the mansion. The mansion was now very stylish and charming. Night Sorrow took out some spirit stones and placed them on the walls and around the loft. He set up a sound isolation and detection array formation. GQNT is the only 5 normal W version for Z, the other square root he is all Z. Alright. This time, there was no problem. Yi Shan clapped his hands and said, Baidu search, love, go, shao, say, www. Com. It won't be good if the other brothers see what you're doing. Sikong Chuyu blushed. I'm being very careful. I don't want others to find out. Night Sorrow said with a smile. So the array formation you're cultivating has such a use. I really have to hand it to you. Yang Lei said as she patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. There has to be some privacy, right? As everyone's cultivation increases, it'll be impossible for them not to notice with a sweep of their soul force. That's why this array formation is necessary. Alright, let's begin. Night Sorrow stretched out his hand and threw Sikong Chuyu, who was close to him, onto the bed. Then, he pushed Yang Lei to the corner of the bed and quickly took off his robes. He also undid Yang Lei's skirt and directly pulled it off. I'm not done taking off my clothes. Yang Lei said as she touched the skirt on her upper body. That's good. Night Sorrow lifted Yang Lei's jade-like leg that was still outside the bed and controlled his divine artifact to rush towards the harbor. What's the change again? Are you trying to kill me? Being invaded by Night Sorrow, Yang Lei's upper body rose and hugged Night Sorrow's neck, enduring the impact of Night Sorrow. It's just a little Yang dragon wine. It should be fine. Night Sorrow pushed Yang Lei onto the bed again. Falling flowers willingly follow the flowing water. Who says the flowing water has no heart for falling flowers? Although Night Sorrow was often running around outside, his heart was always filled with Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Yang Lei was tired. Next was Sikong Chuyu. After a night of entanglement, they also didn't sleep. However, the 3 of them were in good condition. Night Sorrow cultivated his body. Recently, he had been drinking Yang Dragon wine frequently. Although he had absorbed blood energy, his Yang energy was also too abundant. He also needed to live like this. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu cultivated the fusion technique. Night Sorrow's body was filled with blood energy and Yang energy. It was very beneficial for the 2 girls' cultivation. After washing up, Night Sorrow went to the courtyard to cultivate his spear arts. Night Sorrow was currently cultivating his spear arts to cultivate his senses. He had reached the state of one with the spear. The spear was a part of his body. However, in Night Sorrow's heart, the spear wasn't just a part of his body. It was also an indispensable part of his life. Night Sorrow cultivated his spear arts, while Yang Lei and Yang Lei cultivated their sword arts. They cultivated the state of one with the sword. Their realms weren't high enough. When they raised their cultivation, they also needed to raise their realms. In addition, they also needed to raise their combat strength. After cultivating for a while, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu began to spar. Now, the 2's cultivation and combat strength were about the same. They could both fight above their realms. They were definitely not flower vases. This was publicly acknowledged in the God-slaying squad. Before Yun Huang joined the squad, other than Night Sorrow and Ling Long, Yang Lei and Sikong Chiyu's combat strength were the strongest. Night Sorrow remembered that he still had a lightning-attributed crystal that contained the purple flame thunder attribute. After taking it out, he threw it to Yang Lei, who had just finished her cultivation. This is good. It can increase the power of my purple flame thunder attribute, Yang Lei said with a smile. Alright, I'll go look for Yun Huang. We'll go investigate 2 more targets and kill them 2 more times. After that, we'll go to the place I told you about to rest. Night Sorrow led the 2 girls to the center of the mansion. At this moment, Yun Huang, Ling Long, and several other members of the God-slaying squad were drinking tea in the main hall of the mansion. Night Sorrow, I should call you captain now. I plan to investigate a few more targets. What do you think? Yun Huang said. Chapter 635. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go divided by Xiao? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. What do you think? Yun Huang asked. Baidu search, Love Go female sign Xiao, Shua, www.baidu.com. They're not stupid. They won't send a large number of soldiers to guard the city. They'll only send high-level venerables to hide in key places and attack at critical moments. Their target should be me, so I'll go attack the city lord's mansion. You guys clean up the periphery. I'll let Tianyu give the order to attack and retreat. Night Sorrow spoke his mind. That's good too. It'll be safer. After all, our team members still can't face a venerable's attack. If a venerable pounces on us, we'll suffer heavy losses. Yun Huang nodded. Yun Huang then drank a cup of tea and went to work. He was in high spirits now, mainly because he had a strong fighting spirit in his blood. He liked this kind of challenge. With nothing to do, Night Sorrow went to the transfer teleportation formation. When Night Sorrow appeared, Yiling Lan was busy with construction with Night Moon City's craftsmen. Elder, the amount of work here is huge. Night Sorrow looked at the scene and said, the scenery here is beautiful, and there's a teleportation formation. It'll be a waste if we don't build it. It'll be a good place to cultivate in the future. Yiling Lan said with a smile. He had already drawn the blueprint. He wanted to build this place even better than Yuexiang City. Alright, if you lack anything, you can go directly to Taiching City to exchange for it. However, we still need people to guard there. Our people need to be marked so that the guards won't have a hard time identifying them. Elder, why don't you send 2 people to guard there? Night Sorrow asked Yiling Lan. Alright, I'll arrange for 2 capable men to go over later, Yiling Lan said. We need a name for this place. It's inconvenient without a name. Night Sorrow said. Although this place looks flat, it's actually the peak of a mountain. Why don't we call it Sky City? Yiling Lan suggested. Baidu search, Love Go female sign Xiao, Shua, www.baidu.com. Sure. Although it's only a little more than 200 square kilometers, it's still pretty good after construction. Let's call it the city in the sky. Night Sorrow was very satisfied with the name. We've brought quite a few craftsmen with us. I estimate that it'll be ready in half a year. Yiling Lan walked around with Night Sorrow. Beautiful. It was very beautiful. On one side of the mountain peak was a large lake that stretched as far as the eye could see. Looking out from the other sides, it was also a stretch of lush greenery. In the future, when the war is over, young master can cultivate here and cultivate his mind and soul, Yiling Lan said with a smile. Ha! Not bad. Let's build it like this. First, we'll build a training ground. I have a team over there that will be stationed here in the future, Night Sorrow instructed. After chatting with Yiling Lan for a while, Night Sorrow gave Yiling Lan a storage ring which contains some mid-grade and high-grade spirit stones. Yiling Lan didn't hold back. He felt that Night Sorrow was the young master of Night Moon. Night Moon belonged to Night Sorrow, so these resources weren't much. Then, Night Sorrow brought Yiling Lan to the Taiching region and to his residence. Night Sorrow introduced Yiling Lan to everyone. After staying for a while, Yiling Lan went out on the streets. Night Moon was currently recovering. The city in the sky was also under construction and required a lot of resources. He had to exchange spirit stones for resources. Yiling Lan only returned at night. He bought a lot of things and told Night Sorrow that he would bring the guards over tomorrow before leaving. Night Sorrow cultivated while waiting for Yun Huang's news. As for Yun Huang's safety, Night Sorrow wasn't worried at all. Before Yun Huang went to battle, the other dynasties wouldn't dare to act recklessly. Yun Huang was Yun Tianlong's baby. The consequences of attacking Yun Huang for no reason would be severe. Of course, Yun Huang also didn't want to show off his background. 4 days had passed, and Yun Huang returned. He had scouted 2 targets, both of which were cities of the Seven Stars dynasty. This time, he had learned his lesson and scouted very carefully. As long as he could discover or sense that there was a battle in the City Lord Manor, he had scouted it. After making sure that there were no unstable factors, he came back to report. He had chosen the Seven-Star Dynasty because the Seven-Star Dynasty had not only participated in the matter of Night Sorrow, but they had also offered a very high price. This made Yun Huang very angry, so he had set his target on the Seven-Star Dynasty. Night Sorrow gathered his men and took the Taiching City's teleportation array to the Seven-Star Dynasty's Sky Tiger City. After exiting the teleportation array, Night Sorrow, Yun Huang, Ling Long, Sikong Chuyu, and Yang Lei took the lead and killed all the guards of the teleportation array. Then, the members of the God-slaying team all teleported over. Yun Huang, you're familiar with the terrain. From now on, you'll lead the team into battle. I'll go to the City Lord's mansion. If you hear my whistle, go to the City Lord's mansion and kill. If I don't hear it in 5 minutes, everyone will retreat, Night Sorrow instructed. After giving his instructions, Night Sorrow rode Tianyu toward the City Lord's mansion. 6. Yang Jiujio Free Eye Look, Xiao Zero said ZAs for the ballistae on the city's high-rise buildings. Night Sorrow ignored them. Tianyu was very fast. Before the enemy could react, Night Sorrow, who was standing on Tianyu's back, had already flown over. Yun Huang and the others started to kill from behind. They were also constantly setting fire to the City Lord's mansion. Actually, the focus of the attack was still the City Lord's mansion. Night Sorrow was the vanguard. If there was danger, everyone would stay away. This way, they could retreat more easily. When Night Sorrow arrived at the City Lord's mansion, he threw torches filled with kerosene into the City Lord's mansion and started to set fire to it. As for the City Lord's mansion's guards, Night Sorrow basically ignored them. Tianyu flapped his wings and sent some flying with his earth energy. They couldn't threaten Night Sorrow at all. Night Sorrow threw out a few torches. The experts in the City Lord's mansion rose into the air. The leader was a second-level supremacy. Your Night Sorrow? The City Lord of Sky Tiger City was a second-level supremacy. He was a young man wearing a gray robe. He looked at Night Sorrow, who was wearing a green mask, and shouted, "You can't even recognize me when I'm right in front of you. Why are you looking for me? I don't know why you're looking for me. Stop talking nonsense and let's fight." Night Sorrow's body flashed. He stood in the air and faced the gray-robed man. Tianyu also started to fight. He kept attacking the guards on the ground. These guards were the ones who fired their crossbows at him. How could Tianyu tolerate this? As for the Silver Fox, Night Sorrow felt that it wasn't suitable to participate in this kind of battle, so he didn't let it out. "You're really brave. I heard that you can fight against a supremacy." Even the Golden Dragon King Dynasty's 6th-level supremacy, Jin Sun, was injured. Star Tiger will give it a try today." After speaking, the City Lord of Sky Tiger City, Star Tiger, charged at Night Sorrow. He held a broadsword in his hand and slashed at Night Sorrow's head. Night Sorrow wasn't afraid of a second-level supremacy at all. After a protective barrier covered his body, he thrust his reincarnation spear at Star Tiger. Ding! With a crisp sound, Night Sorrow and Star Tiger separated. Night Sorrow retreated a little more. Night Sorrow felt that he was strong enough, but Star Tiger was also very strong. Chapter 636. Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second/Small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow didn't know what kind of technique the 7 stars mixed you on technique was. However, this Star Tiger's strength was indeed incomparably strong and was on par with him. Star Tiger was also very shocked. He was able to repel Night Sorrow because of his strong true chi cultivation. There's no point in talking too much. Let's fight. Night Sorrow took a deep breath and said. Star Tiger roared and charged towards Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow also channeled the energy of the myriad Tao Tome into his body. Since they were going to compete in strength, Night Sorrow decided to go all out. In this aspect, Night Sorrow wasn't afraid of anyone. Following that, the sound of a head-on collision could be heard. Night Sorrow relied on the energy of the myriad Tao Tome and didn't fall into a disadvantageous position. Star Tiger relied on his true chi cultivation to make up for the difference between his body and Night Sorrow's. Sensing that there wouldn't be any experts coming, Night Sorrow let out a long whistle and shouted for the others to attack Sky Tiger City. Awesome! Star Tiger roared as he fought Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow didn't use any ultimate moves because Star Tiger also didn't use any combat techniques. He was just relying on his strength and true chi to fight Night Sorrow. Soon after, Yun Huang and the others came over and started fighting with the City Lord's troops. You're still calling for reinforcements? Are you planning to gang up on us? Star Tiger shouted as he fought Night Sorrow. Not really. I won't let them interfere in a battle between men. Night Sorrow shouted back. Well said. Come on. Let's see who's more ruthless between the two of us. Star Tiger roared as he fought Night Sorrow head-on. Since your true chi is strong, I'll have to use something else. Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear trembled as he displayed the Spiral Force, Oscillation Sutra, and Wave Force. These three types of energy exertion techniques were constantly changing. As soon as Night Sorrow used his energy exertion technique, Star Tiger couldn't hold on any longer. His attacks were either deflected by the Spiral Force or the Shock Force. Star Tiger also used his battle technique. His energy exertion technique was the Explosive Force, but it didn't affect Night Sorrow much. After more than 10 rounds, Star Tiger retreated and landed on a building beside the City Lord's mansion. Stop! Not fighting? Night Sorrow was stunned. More? New fastest Sion. Well, I have combat skills, and so do you. Since we can't fight, why should I fight? Don't kill anymore. If you don't kill, you can rob and I'll just watch. Don't even think about killing me. If I want to leave, you won't be able to stop me. Star Tiger hugged his broadsword and watched as Yun Huang and the others set fire and looted. Night Sorrow looked at Star Tiger and felt that he was different. If he didn't fight, Night Sorrow couldn't use the spatial Ren to kill because that wasn't like a man. The God-slaying team quickly looted the City Lord's mansion and even set it on fire. Hurry up and leave. I can't beat you, so I'll just watch you burn the City Lord's mansion. Don't go anywhere else. Otherwise, I won't talk about martial arts ethics. Star Tiger shouted when he saw the God-slaying team coming out of the City Lord's mansion. Good. Be a man. Let's go. Night Sorrow said and left with the God-slaying team. Captain, what's up with this guy? Ho Jian, who was next to Night Sorrow, asked. This City Lord called Star Tiger is insistent. He doesn't want to do anything that will embarrass the Venerables. He fought with me and knew he couldn't defeat me, so he chose to let go, Night Sorrow said. Star Tiger. This guy is called Star Tiger? Ling Long asked. Yes, why? Night Sorrow looked at Ling Long and asked. He's the most outstanding genius of the 7-star dynasty. He entered the Venerable Realm before the age of 40 and is a direct descendant of the 7-star dynasty's monarch. He was born with extraordinary strength and has cultivated the 7-star dynasty's 7-star origin technique to the extreme, Ling Long said. I didn't expect him to be so famous, Yang Lei said. Yes, this guy is also from Tianji Tower. Actually, this is a pretty good outcome, Ling Long said. He's from Tianji Tower. Fortunately, he still has some perseverance. Otherwise, we would have killed him to avoid embarrassing ourselves, Yun Huang said. When they arrived at the teleportation portal, the group planned to go to their second destination, the Tanlang city of the Star Dynasty. This time, I won't stay to destroy the teleportation portal again, right? Ho Qingjie said reluctantly. Don't go overboard. We won't destroy this place anymore. Let's go to the next city. Night Sorrow made the decision. Star Tiger was like a man. Night Sorrow felt that there was no need to embarrass him too much. Besides, he was from Tianji Tower. The guards of the teleportation portal were all killed. No one knew where they were teleported to. City Lord, what should we do? The guards in the City Lord's mansion who were not killed looked at Star Tiger and asked. What do you mean, what should we do? Pack up. I'll go back and report later. We can't win. The city lord's mansion was burned and robbed. What can we do? If we can't win, why do we have to fight to the death? Then all of you, including me, will be dead. That's it. If anyone in the dynasty wants to pursue the matter, tell them to come to me, Star Tiger said as he glanced at the burned city lord's mansion. Star Tiger had his own persistence, and this was also his warrior's heart. It could even be said that he was somewhat inflexible, but in fact, he was just not good at expressing himself. There were some things that he could easily see the essence of. For example, in his battle with Night Sorrow, he couldn't take him down without using any battle techniques, and it was even more impossible to use his ultimate skill. Night Sorrow relied on battle techniques to survive, and this was the foundation of fighting above his level, so he didn't go all out. Besides, Night Sorrow and the others had a bottom line. Therefore, not many guards of the city lord's mansion were killed. Night Sorrow and the others teleported to Tanlang City and continued to kill. This time, Yishang and the others had killed them thoroughly and smoothly. Night Sorrow killed the city lord, who was a level 3 supremacy. The god-slaying team also looted the city lord's mansion and burned the buildings that belonged to the city lord's mansion. Night Sorrow also left words on the wall of the city lord's mansion. In addition to the previous 7 words, there was an additional sentence. That was, "Arrest at will." The battle had only just begun. After the group retreated, Ho Jian and Lei Bao stayed behind to dismantle the teleportation formation. After returning to Taiching City smoothly, Night Sorrow asked everyone to rest. After taking care of 2 cities of the 7-star dynasty, they shouldn't act recklessly, Yang Lei said as she brewed a pot of tea after returning to the attic in the corner of the mansion. Actually, it's mainly because the Yun clan dynasty helped us. If it wasn't for their interference, they would have directly gone to Night Moon City to cause trouble and neutralize this move of ours, Night Sorrow said. Just, what we lack is still strength. How far are you from the supremacy realm? Sikong Chu looked at Night Sorrow and asked. The amount of true chi needed to cultivate to the peak of Void Inquiry stage is too great. I still need to stabilize my cultivation base. That's why I'm slow. I'll continue to refine Jin Sun's storage ring tonight. Night Sorrow took out Jin Sun's storage ring and said. Chapter 637. Genius Remembers Love in 1 second/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow's soul power was very strong, but it was not much stronger than Jin Sun's soul power. A few days ago, Night Sorrow tried twice, but he felt that it would take some time, so he did not deal with it. Now that everything was fine, Night Sorrow decided to spend some time and directly erase Jin Sun's soul imprint in the storage ring. Holding the storage ring, Night Sorrow meditated in his room and began to use his soul power to attack the storage ring. Jin Sun's soul power was constantly running away, not letting Night Sorrow's soul power attack hit it. However, Night Sorrow's soul power was constantly invading and had a great advantage. Slowly, it wrapped around Jin Sun's soul power. After wrapping around Jin Sun's soul power, Night Sorrow began to kill and refine it. Jin Sun's soul power struggled fiercely, but Night Sorrow firmly suppressed it. After a night, the 2 girls got up and washed up, but Night Sorrow was still meditating. In the evening, Night Sorrow finally completely destroyed Jin Sun's soul power, and Night Sorrow also checked the space inside the storage ring. After a thorough investigation, Yishang was shocked because the resources inside Jin Sun's storage ring were simply too abundant. There were over 1,000 high-grade spirit stones and 4,000 or 5,000 mid-grade spirit stones. There were also a few water-attributed spirit stones. In addition, there were also piles of alchemy and blacksmithing materials. This situation made Night Sorrow very surprised. He did not understand how Jin Sun could have so many resources, but this was a good thing. Night Moon Dynasty urgently needed resources to recover, and Night Sorrow's consumption was also relatively large. At this time, Jin Sun was in the Golden Dragon King's disciplinary palace. To put it bluntly, he was locked up. Jin Sun was an elder of the Golden Dragon King's dynasty, and a level 6 supreme was an expert in the Golden Dragon King's dynasty. However, he made a grave mistake this time. He lost a few dozen years' worth of resources, which was unforgivable. However, he said that the storage ring was still connected, and the ring had not been opened, so the Golden Dragon King did not punish him severely. This was also the reason why they paid a huge price to arrest Night Sorrow. Jin Sun could not fake the amount of resources. He went to collect resources, but the Golden Dragon City had sent the bills to the Golden Dragon King. Therefore, the amount of losses this time, the Golden Dragon King dynasty, was very clear. G to the power of U forever exempt A. Phi plus little x says J. The moment Night Sorrow opened the storage ring, Jin Sun's expression changed. He lost contact with the storage ring, and this made him know that he was in trouble, because this meant that the resources were in Night Sorrow's hands. He could only report the situation, and what awaited him was the severe punishment of the Golden Dragon King dynasty. No one could protect him. The main reason was that the losses were too great. Night Sorrow counted the spirit stones, put them into his storage ring, and put away the materials. After obtaining a huge harvest, Night Sorrow was very happy. He left the room and went to the training field, watching the members of the god-slaying team cultivate. Did it go well? Sikong Chu came to Night Sorrow's side and asked. It's done, we got a huge amount of resources. Night Sorrow nodded. At this time, Yi Ling Lan brought 2 men to the training field. Yi Wuming and Yi Wunan greet the young master. The 2 men bowed when they saw Night Sorrow. No need to be so polite. Night Sorrow waved his hand and helped the 2 men up. Young master, they are here to guard the teleportation array. Yi Ling Lan said. You too, take a look at the people here. You don't need to check them when they teleport in the future. Also, you know who is teleporting here. The teleportation matrix is the key to the safety of Sky City, Yi Shan said to Yi Wuming and Yi Wuming. Young master, don't worry. Even if we die, we will ensure the safety of the teleportation array. Yi Wuming and Yi Wunan bowed again to Night Sorrow. Love go, little say, W, Chu, Xueling, Liue. Give them the Yang lightning of the Yin Yang lightning array. Night Sorrow waved to Xueling and Nan Liu. Then, he told Yi Wuming and Yi Wunan how to use the Yin Yang lightning array. Young master, you are very careful. This will be safer. Yi Ling Lan nodded in appreciation. He didn't expect Night Sorrow to be so experienced. We have only used half of the mansion here. If Night Moon needs it, you can use it as a stronghold. Night Sorrow said. Yi Ling Lan nodded and left the mansion. He went to the city to exchange for materials. Night Moon City and Sky City needed to be built. In addition, the citizens of Night Moon needed a large amount of resources. Spiritual stones alone wouldn't be of much use. They needed to exchange for the most scarce resources and materials. In the evening, when Night Sorrow was practicing his spear arts, Yi Ling Lan returned. Young master, you should go to Sky City with me. It is too dangerous for you to go out and kill, Yi Ling Lan said. When he went out to exchange for resources today, he heard that Night Sorrow was looking for trouble with the dynasties again. He also knew that the dynasties wanted Night Sorrow. It's fine. However, we still have to go to Sky City. Don't forget to leave some space for us. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Don't worry about that, young master. Young master's mansion has already been set up. In addition, there are also some pavilions for cultivation and a martial arts arena. Young master's brothers have gone there. There will be places for them to rest and cultivate, Yi Ling Lan said. All right. Everyone stop cultivating and tidy up. I will bring you to another good place. Night Sorrow clapped his hands. Leader, where are we going? Ling Long walked over and asked. Sky City. I like it very much. However, I don't know if you will like it. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go. Ling Long said. When they arrived at the teleportation array, Night Sorrow threw a storage belt to Yi Wuming. Those who use this teleportation array are our own people. Use this to teleport. Then, the group teleported to Sky City. It's so beautiful. I want to stay here in the future. Leader, you have to arrange this for me. Ling Long said when they arrived at Sky City. Let's take a look first. If you like it, I will think of something. Night Sorrow smiled. This place was indeed beautiful. Night Sorrow liked it very much. Then, under Yi Linglan's lead, the group arrived at a martial arts arena. There were dozens of pavilions on the side of the arena. It was enough for the god-slaying squad to live in. This place was built according to the young master's request. It should be enough. If it is not, I will send more people to build it. Yi Linglan said. It should be enough. If it is not enough, we will talk about it. Xueling, Ho Jian, arrange for everyone to live in. Night Sorrow made arrangements. After Night Sorrow made arrangements for the god-slaying squad, Yi Linglan led Night Sorrow, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chuyu to the edge of Sky City. It was a mansion near the lake. Young master, do you like this place? Yi Linglan asked after leading Night Sorrow and the others to the mansion. Very good. It gives people a refreshing feeling. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Young master, as long as you like it. In the future, when you are free, you can cultivate and rest in Sky City. Yi Linglan said. But I can't do it now. If I don't solve Night Moon's problem, how can I live in peace? Night Sorrow sighed. He was under a lot of pressure now because the dynasties were eyeing him covetously. Chapter 638. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go divided by Shao? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Yi Linglan also knew that Night Sorrow was under a lot of pressure because the Night Moon dynasty's opponents were too powerful. Baidu search AI Go female sign Shao, say www.taichuexus.com. This still needs time. My cultivation still needs to be accumulated and stabilized. Night Sorrow said. Original version. Now that the Night Moon dynasty has entered a period of recovery, young master, why don't you go into seclusion and cultivate? It would be best for you to come out when you are strong enough to intimidate one side. Yi Linglan said. I can wait, but what about the people of the Night Moon dynasty? What kind of life do they live? They don't have faith, they don't have the roots in their hearts. These days are torture for them. Night Sorrow said. I understand. Young master, don't worry. If everyone works together, the Night Moon dynasty will definitely rise again. Yuexiang City's situation is rare after all. Yi Linglan said. He was worried that the situation in Yuexiang City would affect Night Sorrow's mood. I understand. Night Moon City, Wuyo City, and Wuemo City's people of the Night Moon dynasty are all worthy of respect. I am also willing to fight for them. Yuexiang City is out of the question. Night Sorrow said with a smile. He really didn't care about Yuexiang City's attitude. He just didn't want to have anything to do with Yuexiang City in the future. After chatting for a while, when Yi Linglan was about to leave, Night Sorrow gave Yi Linglan 2,000 mid-grade spirit stones. Mid-grade spirit stones were meaningless to Night Sorrow, so he also gave Yi Linglan some high-grade spirit stones. Seeing Night Sorrow take out so many spirit stones, Yi Linglan was very surprised. He didn't know where Night Sorrow got so many resources. The first time he took out so many spirit stones and elixirs, the number of spirit stones and elixirs he took out was already terrifying. Take it. Night Moon is my family. Whatever I do for my family is what I should do. Night Sorrow said to Yi Linglan. Young Master is Night Moon's lucky star. Ever since Young Master appeared, Night Moon's view of him began to change, Yi Linglan said excitedly. After Yi Linglan left, Night Sorrow and the two girls strolled around the mansion. This was a very grand and stylish mansion. There was even a viewing platform on the roof where one could enjoy the cool breeze and watch the scenery of the lake. We have a lot of mansions, but the style and layout here is the most comfortable. It really makes one feel relaxed and happy. Yang Lei sighed as she sat on a rocking chair on the mansion's viewing platform. It's convenient to have a teleportation formation. If we want to return to the Eastern Xian region in the future, we can go to the Medicine Valley. Later, I'll go to Danding City to set up a teleportation formation and connect Danding City to the Medicine Valley and Zhiyuan City. Night Sorrow said. He still wanted the Medicine Valley to develop as soon as possible. In Night Sorrow's heart, Night Moon's matter was important. The Medicine Valley's matter was also important. In addition, the matter of Taichuan was also a sore point for Night Sorrow. It was just that he had never mentioned it. Without reaching the Exalt realm, Night Sorrow couldn't investigate it. There was no point in being anxious. A teleportation formation used to be such a luxurious thing. The entire Medicine Valley didn't have one. Now, 13, you can set one up whenever you want. The world has changed too much. Yang Lei sighed. Ninth senior sister, the world hasn't changed. It's the people who have changed. It's the people who have changed the world. Sikong Chuyu brewed a pot of tea and said, "You're right. It's the people who have changed the world." I still remember clearly that the Medicine Valley was oppressed in the past. The disciples of the Golden Flame sect were so arrogant when they came to the Medicine Valley. I couldn't even bear to look them in the eye. Even the people of the Tai family in Nanyang City could come to the Medicine Valley to show off their strength. But now, they've been annihilated. Yang Lei said, "The Medicine Valley will get better and better. It's on the right track. The disciples will rise rapidly. The older generation will also reach a higher level." Sikong Chuyu said, "Chuyu, we'll visit your home again when we have time." After experiencing this setback, the Sikong family should have more room for development. Night Sorrow said, "The main thing is that you're wanted now. It's troublesome. Once you reach the Exalt realm, the wanted list will be Bullsh *T. Ordinary Exalts are no match for you. High-level Exalts are busy cultivating every day. They don't have time to catch this and that." Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. "In the end, it's still about cultivation. As long as you have cultivation, you'll have enough confidence. No matter where you stand, your back will be straight." Night Sorrow smiled. "You should be content. You're only 20 years old. Who can compare with you in the 9 regions and 18 states?" Yang Lei said with a smile. "There's one more thing. If you see Jiyu Hao from the Jiyu family, you must avoid him. Don't fight him head-on." Night Sorrow said, "Is that guy very strong?" Yang Lei asked. "He entered the Exalt realm with the time attribute. His combat strength is very strong. The main thing is his speed. This is almost unbeatable. In addition, his sword energy with the time attribute is very powerful. I was hit by his sword a few times and it took me several days to recover." Night Sorrow said, "That bastard. I didn't expect him to be alive." Sikong Chuyu frowned. "Then you have to be careful. The time attribute is too overbearing." "I've never heard of anyone with it before. He's definitely one of the top cultivators." Yang Lei reminded Night Sorrow. She was worried that Night Sorrow would be in danger. Yang Lei didn't have any relatives. She only had her master, senior sister, and fellow apprentices. At present, Night Sorrow was her most important support. "Last time, he tried to kill me. In the end, he failed and retreated. It won't be that easy for him to kill me." Night Sorrow said, "Both of you like Chuyu. This is fate. He comprehended the time attribute and you have the supreme attribute. This is your enemy. Seize the opportunity to kill him." Yang Lei reminded Night Sorrow. A mountain couldn't accommodate 2 tigers. The geniuses of an era would always clash. The winner would be the one who had the last laugh. That was why Yang Lei reminded Night Sorrow to be ruthless when he had the opportunity. "I don't have the opportunity now. He's a venerable but I'm not. I can't do anything about his speed. If I fight a venerable now, as long as he wants to run, I can't do anything about it." Night Sorrow pointed out his weakness. Of all the techniques in the world, only speed is unbreakable. Speed and power are the 2 most crucial factors in battle. Power is your forte, but speed is not enough. You have to find a way to make up for it, Sikong Chuyu said. The Soaring Dragon Steps is flexible enough, but it's not fast enough. Let's talk about it later. Night Sorrow was helpless about his speed. Normally, the space attribute is the best for speed. However, you don't have space attribute movement skills. If you have the chance, you can go to Tianji Tower and ask. Yang Lei said. At this moment, in the manner of Ji Yu's family, Jiyu Hao was commanding a maid. She was wearing the same clothes as Sikong Chuyu and had the same hairstyle. At the same time, she was lashing the maid with a whip in her hand. "Bitch, one day I'll make you moan under me." Chapter 639. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. In terms of cultivation and battle strength, one could surpass the opponent. As long as one could crush and kill the opponent, the problem would be solved. However, some problems were not. They were intrinsic. Love go, little says Neka. For example, Sikong Chiyu liked Night Sorrow and looked down on Ji Yu Hao. This was the fundamental problem. It meant that Ji Yu Hao was not as good as Night Sorrow. Even if he killed Night Sorrow, he could not change this fact. This was also the reason why Ji Yu Hao was so depressed. Bitch. After a while, Ji Yu Hao kicked the maidservant away and went back to his cultivation. He couldn't kill Yishang now, so he had to improve his power. Night Sorrow and the other two strolled around the mansion. Night Sorrow also casually set up some formations. We will stay here in the future. The scenery is good, and it is not noisy. It is also convenient for us to travel, said Yang Lei. Okay, if you like it here, then it is here. I have no objections, said Night Sorrow with a smile. He really did not care about these things. After familiarizing himself with the mansion, Night Sorrow took the two girls to the place where the god-slaying squad rested and cultivated. Captain, we will stay here in the future. Everyone likes it here, said Ho Jian, looking at Night Sorrow. It is okay for now. However, when we get married, it will not be suitable for us to live together. I think we can build many villas on the slope of the mountain. When the time comes, whoever gets married, let me know. I will arrange for the villas to be built, said Night Sorrow after thinking for a while. Everyone was very happy with Yishang's words. Currently, everyone's living conditions were very good, but if they wanted to start a family, it would be a little lacking. After all, they couldn't be a family and cultivate and train together with the other brothers. After checking everyone's situation, Night Sorrow went to Yi Ling Lan's place. Yi Ling Lan's place was in the canyon, a pavilion built not far from the teleportation formation. Night Sorrow said that he wanted to reserve an area. All right, that area will be reserved for the young master, Yi Ling Lan said. After talking with Yi Ling Lan for a while, Night Sorrow brought the two women back to the mansion. There were also two servants arranged by Yi Ling Lan in the mansion. They lived in the loft at the side of the mansion. Night Sorrow glanced at Tianyu and Silver Fox and went to cultivate. He planned to study the bloodline energy protection talent. Only then would he be able to use the real space crack. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, the others were also cultivating. With Night Sorrow's control and operation, the bloodline talent energy point under his backbone appeared. Night Sorrow tried to use this energy to create a protective shield around his body. This was rather complicated. After all, it was not the Dantian exerting force. Night Sorrow liked this kind of challenge. Only when there was difficulty could he feel the thrill of overcoming it. After studying until the middle of the night, Night Sorrow finally understood the bloodline energy protection talent. After studying it, Night Sorrow found that the activation of the bloodline energy protection talent was faster than the activation of the true energy protection talent. After all, it was activated directly, unlike the true energy which had to go through the meridians. After studying it, Night Sorrow went to the courtyard to cultivate. During this cultivation, Night Sorrow found a benefit. When his body moved, the spatial resistance was much smaller. His speed increased by 2 levels. The bloodline energy was greatly consumed. Night Sorrow meditated to recover and then continued to cultivate. He only stopped when the sun rose. Night Sorrow was very happy that his speed had increased by 2 levels. The most important point was that the space attribute protection talent had the ability to isolate the spatial turbulence. Night Sorrow was very puzzled about his nothingness attribute. Now, except for suppressing other attributes, he did not find any special ability. This made him feel very helpless. However, he knew that this was only the current state. Since the nothingness attribute was the supreme attribute, it must have some unknown power. It was just that he had not discovered it yet. While Night Sorrow was thinking, Yang Lei and Sikong Chiyu came to Night Sorrow's side. The original debut, what are you thinking about? Why are you so lost in thought? Sikong Chiyu helped Night Sorrow tidy up his robe and said, I'm studying the space crack. I now have a space attribute protection talent. When I enter the venerable realm, I can try to enter the spatial turbulence. Night Sorrow said. After chatting with the two girls for a while and eating breakfast, Night Sorrow strolled around the Sky City. At this time, the mountain peak was undergoing changes. However, some of the good scenery was not destroyed. Even the buildings were built to accommodate the previous scenery. Night Sorrow went to the place where the god-slaying team was and watched them cultivate. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu also joined the cultivation team. After watching for a while, Night Sorrow went to the side and began to refine elixirs. He had obtained a lot of materials from the recent robberies. After working for 6 or 7 days, Night Sorrow finally turned all the materials into elixirs. Leader, you should be a mobile elixir storage now. We watched you refine elixirs furnace by furnace. Elder Ling Lan bought 3 bottles for you to store elixirs. Shui Ling came to Night Sorrow and said, "Pa, I have a lot of materials. Didn't I snatch a storage ring when I was guarding the rear? I don't know what happened to that guy." The storage ring was full of resources. There were many elixir materials and refining materials. Night Sorrow said with a smile, "Are you done refining?" Yang Lei handed a cup of water to Night Sorrow. "Almost. The rest are special materials for refining elixirs. Besides, I don't have enough auxiliary materials." Night Sorrow drank a mouthful of water and said, "Young Master, thank you for your hard work. The elixirs you gave us are enough for the Night Moon Dynasty to use for a while." Yi Ling Lan bowed. Night Sorrow smiled and shook his head. Yi Ling Lan had taken away part of the elixirs he refined because the cultivators in the Night Moon Dynasty were having a hard time. Night Sorrow drank his tea while watching the others cultivate. Occasionally, he would give them some pointers. What he taught them were techniques related to exerting energy. There were people who had learned the wave force and vibration force. However, until now, no one could comprehend and master the spiral force. After staying for a while to check on Ma Shizhuang, Tang Tian and Chu Ning's cultivation, Night Sorrow returned to his mansion. After entering the mansion, Night Sorrow was stunned for a moment because he found that Tianyu was breaking through to the 8th level of the Void Inquiry stage. The Silver Fox obediently stood guard at one side. Night Sorrow took out a jar of wine and sat at one side. While drinking, he helped Tianyu stand guard. Actually, there was no need to stand guard. They would not be disturbed at all. Night Sorrow just felt that he should be by Tianyu's side when something happened. At night, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu came back. Seeing the situation, Yang Lei asked the servants to prepare 2 side dishes. The 3 of them drank wine and accompanied Tianyu to break through. Chapter 640. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We will provide you with interesting novels to read. As soon as the moon rose, Tianyu successfully advanced to the 8th level of the Void Inquiry stage. Love go little say, W. Chu Tianyu, who had successfully advanced to the 8th level, let out a long howl. With a flap of his wings, he soared into the sky. Then, with 2 shuttles, he was already tens of li asterisk, 500 m per li, away from the lake. After a while, Tianyu caught 2 big fishes and threw them in front of Night Sorrow and the other 2. Tianyu wants to thank us for accompanying him. That's why he gave us 2 fishes as a reward. Night Sorrow said. The 2 women did not know what Tianyu meant. However, Night Sorrow could sense the fluctuation of Tianyu's soul and knew what Tianyu was thinking. After that, Night Sorrow cleaned up the place and grilled the fishes in the courtyard. On the other side, Tianyu brought the Silver Fox out to play. Tianyu's speed is really fast. He can travel tens of li asterisk, 500 m per li, in just 2 shuttles. He can even fight against an early-stage Venerable Realm expert. Watching Tianyu leave, Sikong Chuyu sighed with emotion. The 3 of them ate the grilled fishes and drank some tea before going to rest. Night Sorrow did not cultivate mainly because he wanted to relax. For the next few days, Night Sorrow cultivated steadily. He mainly cultivated the innate ability of his bloodline, which was the usage of spatial energy to protect himself. As he became more familiar with the usage of the spatial energy to protect himself, Night Sorrow's speed increased. However, Night Sorrow still felt that it was not enough. Although he had high attributes, he did not discover its power. The spatial attribute was the best attribute to increase speed. However, Night Sorrow's speed still did not increase. After another round of cultivation, Night Sorrow came to the training ground. At this moment, Yun Huang was meditating at a corner of the training ground. Sensing Night Sorrow's arrival, Yun Huang stood up. "How do you feel? Is there an opportunity to break through?" Night Sorrow asked. "No. My realm is still not high enough. According to your method of cultivation, my realm has increased very quickly, but it's still not enough." Yun Huang shook his head. Even if my cultivation base reaches a certain level first, I still have to wait. Captain, with your guidance, my cultivation base has risen very quickly. It is basically at the same level as my cultivation base. Once my cultivation base reaches a certain level, my cultivation base will be more or less enough, Ling Long said as she walked over. "Everyone, let's work hard together. By the way, I'll be leaving for a few days later, so you guys take care of the team. Yun Huang, you have a special identity, so you won't be in any danger outside. So, go out and investigate more," Night Sorrow said to Exquisite and Yun Huang. "But, Captain, you have to be careful. You're wanted now. If you go out, you might be in danger. After all, the GU family and the few dynasties are all deeply rooted forces. They have a lot of spies," said Exquisite. "This is useful." Night Sorrow took out his Heaven's Fate mask and said with a smile. After communicating with everyone, Night Sorrow did not bring Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu with him. Instead, he brought Tianyu and Silver Fox to the teleportation array and started the teleportation. When they arrived at the mansion in Taiching Domain, Night Sorrow put on the mask and walked towards the Tianji Tower branch. He wanted to teleport to the Tianji Tower base and ask the higher-ups of Tianji Tower if they had any space attribute movement techniques. He wanted to strengthen his weakness of being slow. Because of his slow speed, it was useless even if he was stronger than others. The streets of Taiching Domain were filled with cultivators. However, when they saw Night Sorrow, they all made way. It was not because of Night Sorrow's status, but because of the power of the mask on his face. When they arrived at the Tianji Tower branch, Night Sorrow took out the token and showed it to the members guarding the teleportation array. Then he was directly teleported to the first base of Tianji Tower. After passing through layers of checkpoints, Night Sorrow arrived at the underground hall of the first base of Tianji Tower. AI Go Shao Shua 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 W. AI Chu X. Come in the hall. Night Sorrow saw Lin Yuandao and Guishao. Then, Night Sorrow took off his mask and cupped his hands in greeting. "Kid, you're in the limelight now. You're wanted by several major forces. You're really amazing," Guishao said with a smile. "Has Director Guo recovered?" Night Sorrow asked. "I've recovered. It's not a big deal. I owe you a big favor, kid," Guishao said with some emotion. "Is Mistress Wu Kei here?" Night Sorrow asked. Then Lin Yuandao told Night Sorrow that there was nothing else here. Wu Lingfei had returned to Eastern Xian Domain. QSV 1% Hair X, is there something that's troubling you? Lin Yuandao asked. It's like this. After fighting with high-level cultivators, I realized that my speed is my shortcoming. I feel helpless against opponents with high speed, so I want to ask if our Empyrean Terminus Tower has any space attribute movement techniques. Night Sorrow explained his purpose for coming. There are some things that you can tell me in the future. If Mistress Wu Kei can help you, then I can help you too. I'll accompany you to the headquarters Dark Tower to see if there's a suitable movement skill for you, Lin Yuandao said with a sigh. He felt that Night Sorrow still couldn't let go of himself in Tianji Tower. Thank you, Mistress Wu Kei, Night Sorrow said with a bow. Then, Lin Yuandao and Guishao asked about Night Moon Dynasty's situation. Night Sorrow didn't hide anything and directly told them about Night Moon's current situation. Mistress Wu Kei, can we open a Tianji Tower branch in Night Moon City? Although the current situation in Night Moon City isn't optimistic, so what? Who would dare to touch our branch there? Guishao said. Of course, we don't need to be afraid of anyone. Back then, our Tianji Tower branch was moved back because there was no one there, Lin Yuandao said. Then Lin Yuandao and Guo Xiao discussed the arrangements for the people who would go to Night Moon City. This was because the people who would go to Night Moon City couldn't be recruited from the major forces. They had to be trained by Tianji Tower to keep the secret and not harm Night Moon Dynasty. Teleportation array. We have to set up a teleportation array. Otherwise, it'll be inconvenient, Guo Xiao said. I've already set up the teleportation array. The teleportation point here is in my mansion. It's not connected to Tai Ching City's teleportation array. I'm worried that it won't be safe, Night Sorrow said. You're right. How about this? Let's connect the teleportation array in your mansion to the teleportation array in our base. This way, we won't have to check the people from Tianji Tower before they teleport. The people who can be teleported from the base are safe and reliable, Lin Yuandao said after thinking for a moment. Okay, this is a teleportation crystal from my teleportation array. Mistress Wu Kei, please give me the teleportation crystal from the base's teleportation array. I'll go back and set it up, Night Sorrow said. Then, Night Sorrow and Lin Yuandao exchanged the teleportation crystal. Director Guo, after I accompany Night Sorrow to set up the teleportation crystal, I'll take him to Dark Tower. I'll leave the construction of the Tianji Tower branch in Night Moon City to you. Lin Yuandao stood up and said to Guo Xiao. Mistress Wu Kei, don't worry. Night Sorrow, you don't have to worry about this. I'll arrange it beautifully, Guo Xiao said with a smile. Chapter 641. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Lin Yuandao and Night Sorrow then left Night Sorrow's residence. Lin Yuandao wasn't worried that Night Sorrow's teleportation formation would bring danger to Tianji Tower's base. Tianji Tower's first base's teleportation formation was on the ground, some distance away from the core of the base. It was also guarded by experts, so the chances of anyone breaking in were extremely low. Lin Yuandao also didn't believe that anyone would dare to attack Tianji Tower's base. So what if one base was destroyed? Which faction would be able to bear the cost? Night Sorrow and Lin Yuandao took the teleportation formation and returned to Qingtian City's Tianji Tower's secret tower. Night Sorrow then waited while Lin Yuandao went to look for books. Night Sorrow had just sat down when Xie appeared in a blue robe. How have you been? Xie asked after sitting down. Not bad. I ran into a small problem that Lord K is helping me solve, Night Sorrow said. After I came back, I looked at some of your records. Don't be too estranged from the Empyrean Terminus Tower in the future. To put it bluntly, the Empyrean Terminus Tower is a sect. It's just that its development path is different from other forces. If you can contribute to the Empyrean Terminus Tower, the Empyrean Terminus Tower can contribute to you as well, said Xie. Night Sorrow will remember Senior's teachings. Night Sorrow cupped his hands. While Night Sorrow and Xie were talking, Lin Yuandao returned. Night Sorrow, there are books for normal attributes, but there are only books for advanced attributes. There aren't any for space attributes. That's not important. I'll do some research myself, Night Sorrow said. You need a space attribute movement technique manual? Xie asked. Yes. I met some opponents. I could fight them head-on, but I can't stop them if they want to run. My speed is a bit lacking. Night Sorrow nodded. Actually, there are almost no inheritances for advanced attribute battle skills. In the past few years, very few people have been able to master advanced attribute battle skills, not to mention advanced attribute battle skills. If you can master advanced attribute battle skills, why worry about not being able to create battle skills? This seat will tell you about this seat's understanding of speed and movement. Xie waved her hand for Night Sorrow to sit down and then explained her understanding of speed. According to Xie understanding, the biggest obstacle to increasing speed was air, energy, and so on. If you could overcome these obstacles, your speed would naturally increase. This seat will give you a few examples. A cultivator's speed in the water is definitely not as fast as in the air because of the water's resistance. In addition, why is sword energy and saber light faster than a cultivator's body? That's because sword energy and saber light have a stronger ability to cut and break through obstacles. Xie Lanjun gave 2 examples to Night Sorrow when she saw Night Sorrow's confusion. While Night Sorrow pondered, Lin Yuandao also listened. There are 2 fundamental ways to increase speed. One is to cultivate one's realm. When one's realm is high enough, one can control the world's energy and reduce energy obstacles. Not to mention moving quickly, one can even teleport after reaching a certain level. The other is to cultivate one's own technique. By using one's body as a saber and sword, one's speed of breaking through obstacles will increase. Xie Lanjun slowly explained to Night Sorrow. Many thanks for Senior's explanation. Night Sorrow now understands. Night Sorrow exhaled and once again cupped his hands towards Xie Lanjun. It's good that you understand. This is the manual for my movement technique, flickering light passing shadow. It might not be suitable for you, but you can use it as a reference. Xie Lanjun took out a manual and threw it to Yishan. This junior also does not know how to thank Senior. Holding the manual, Yi Shiwen lowered his head and pondered. I heard that your wine is not bad. Give me 2 jugs first. Xie Lanjun looked at Night Sorrow and said, latest new VG chapter *, section Z, okay. Night Sorrow took out a jug of 100 herb wine and a jug of azure blood wine and placed them in front of Xie Lanjun. After giving Lin Yuandao a jug of azure blood wine, he opened another jug for himself. Lord K, you are borrowing this seat's light, Xie Lanjun said with a smile. After drinking a jug of wine, Night Sorrow planned to leave. He planned to make a trip back to Eastern Xian region. You have to be careful when you travel outside. The world is in chaos. Right now, many people want to kill you. You have to wear the Heaven's Fate mask. Lin Yuandao said to Night Sorrow. Bowing to Lin Yuandao and Xie Lanjun, Night Sorrow left Dark Tower and set off for Eastern Xian region. With the strategic teleportation array, it wouldn't be troublesome. After a few teleportations, Night Sorrow arrived at Eastern Xian City. He didn't go anywhere else and directly returned to his mansion and went to the View Tower. Just as Night Sorrow arrived at the View Tower, Wu Lingfei in a white dress came to the hall. Aunt Fei, you are really here. I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to see you. Night Sorrow said with a smile. It's nothing. I will cultivate here. The View Tower is also comfortable. Wu Lingfei said with a smile. Then, Wu Lingfei asked about Night Sorrow's situation. When chatting with Wu Lingfei, Night Sorrow was the most relaxed and also the most relaxed. He told her about the current situation. City in the Sky. This name sounds very comfortable. When I have time, Aunt Fei will also go and take a look. Did you come back for something? Wu Lingfei asked. Medicine Valley is my sect. I haven't been back for a long time. I am going back to take a look and build a teleportation array for them. Night Sorrow said. That's true. Also, you want to rebuild Night Moon City. The main teleportation array of Night Moon City will need a lot of avatars. Take this spatial crystal. It won't be a problem to connect a dozen teleportation arrays. Wu Lingfei took out a teleportation crystal the size of a human head. It's so big. Aunt Fei, where did you get this? Night Sorrow asked with some astonishment. The largest teleportation crystal he used was only the size of 2 fists. It couldn't be compared to the one in front of him. Ha! You are a person with luck. Although Aunt Fei's luck isn't as great as yours, I still have some. I obtained it by chance when I was traveling in the 9 regions. However, don't use this teleportation crystal. After all, Night Moon City is still unstable. If it is attacked, no matter how good the teleportation array you build, it will be useless. It's better to wait until the situation in the Night Moon City stabilizes. Wu Lingfei reminded Night Sorrow. Aunt Fei, don't worry. I understand. When I return from Medicine Valley, will you come with me to Sky City? Night Sorrow invited. Not yet. Eastern Xian region is still too weak. The flames of war have just passed. I am worried that one of them won't be able to swallow their anger and will launch a sneak attack. Wu Lingfei expressed her concern. Then I understand. When our Eastern Xian region is strong enough to crush any force, they won't dare to have such thoughts. Night Sorrow said. You're right. Our Eastern Xian region needs to develop in a direction that others won't even dare to think about. Wu Lingfei nodded at Night Sorrow. Aunt Fei, does our Eastern Xian region have high-level saints? Night Sorrow asked. Chapter 642. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Actually, this situation isn't too bad. As long as our top fighters are strong enough, our Eastern Xian region will be stable no matter how intense the following battles are. Night Sorrow said, That's how it is. Go and do your work. If you have any difficulties, come and find Auntie Fei. Wu Lingfei nodded to Night Sorrow. Nodding at Wu Lingfei again, Night Sorrow steered Tianyu towards the teleportation array. Z starter. After arriving at the teleport formation, Night Sorrow directly teleported to Danding City. Looking at the radiant golden flame palace, Night Sorrow hesitated for a moment before embedding a teleport crystal in the teleport formation. 2 disciples of Medicine Valley who were guarding the teleport formation saw him off respectfully. Night Sorrow then left Danding City on Tianyu. Not long after Night Sorrow left, Yu Yangyu walked out of the golden flame palace. Sect Master. The disciples of the Medicine Valley who were guarding the transmission array bowed to greet him. Who was there just now? Yu Yangyu asked. He had only woken up from his meditative state because he had sensed someone's presence. Vice Valley Master Yi is back. After he placed this here, he left in the direction of Pill Cauldron Mountain. The disciple guarding the teleportation array pointed at the card slot on the teleportation array. Teleportation crystal split? After seeing the transmission crystal, Yu Yangyu was stunned for a moment. Does the Deputy Valley Master have any other instructions? He just hesitated in front of the Golden Flame Palace and didn't say anything else. Love, go, little, say, could the disciple of the Medicine Valley who was guarding the portal answered. Yu Yangyu's body flashed as he flew towards the Pill Cauldron Mountain. He knew that Night Sorrow had most likely returned to set up a teleportation array. Night Sorrow arrived at Danding Mountain and went to Danding Cliff first. Many disciples on the Danding Cliff were cultivating. After the 8-Dragon Cauldron was upgraded, it absorbed more energy. Without delaying their own cultivation, the vessel spirit informed Elder Su, who was guarding the Danding Cliff, to increase the limit of its help and let the Medicine Valley set the rules by themselves. When Night Sorrow arrived, Elder Su was very happy. He pulled Night Sorrow aside and started chatting. After chatting with Elder Su for a while, Night Sorrow flew off the cliff. He did not fly directly to the top of the Danding Cliff, as that would be disrespectful to the 8-Dragon Cauldron. Seeing Night Sorrow's body rising directly, the disciples of the Medicine Valley who were originally cultivating all stood up. They knew that the pride of the Medicine Valley had appeared, and no one else could step off the cliff like this. Soon, Night Sorrow arrived at the empty space in front of the 8-Dragon Cauldron. You can just fly over. There's no need to rush up from below. I understand, the artifact spirit of the 8-Dragon Cauldron said. Well, how have you been? Asked Night Sorrow. Spiritual instruments and sacred instruments can exist independently, but they lack vitality and do not conform to the way of heaven. Now that I have your origin energy, I can make up for the lack of vitality. I can set off to a higher level. In this way, if you need me in the future, I will have the strength to help you, said the 8-Dragon Cauldron. I owe you. Also, I want to know, if I take you away in the future, can you leave the subbody here? Asked Night Sorrow, asking the question he wanted to know the most. Yes, if you need me to fight, just come and take me away. There won't be any problem if I leave the subbody here. Under the influence of the main body, the people of the Medicine Valley can also use the subbody to fight, said the 8-Dragon Cauldron. Then I'm relieved. You can stay here in peace. When I'm done here, I'll come and take you away, said Night Sorrow. After communicating with the 8-Dragon Cauldron for a while, Night Sorrow rode on the Tianyu and flew directly to Danding Peak. In front of Danding Hall, Night Sorrow saw Yu Yangyu, Gong Xian, and Chu Lingxiao. Master, you're not in the Golden Flames Hall? Asked Night Sorrow after bowing. I just came back. Did you go to Danding Cliff? Yu Yangyu led them into the hall. Yes, I talked to the 8-Dragon Cauldron and asked about the specific situation, Night Sorrow told Yu Yangyu about the subbody of the 8-dragon cauldron. This is great news. It won't affect the Medicine Valley. You don't have to feel pressured, said Yu Yangyu happily. Master, I came back this time to set up a teleportation formation for the Medicine Valley, said Night Sorrow. I'll know when you set up a subbody on the teleportation formation in Danding City. Yu Yangyu was very happy. No matter where the teleportation formation was set up, it would be of great help to the Medicine Valley. I plan to set up a teleportation formation in the Medicine Valley, just beside Danding Square. It can directly teleport to Danding City. Also, I plan to set up one in Jiyuan Town. That's where I grew up. I hope that it can develop. Please understand, Master. Night Sorrow spoke his mind. He felt that it was a little selfish, but there was nothing he could do about it. The reason he left Jiyuan village was because he wanted the villagers there to live a good life. This is a good thing. Jiyuan Town is close to the deep wilderness. It needs to be developed. There are many materials in the deep wilderness. Cultivators need to go there, said Yu Yangyu. Then, Night Sorrow set up a teleportation formation on the side of Danding Square. Gong Xian called for people to protect it. When He Shang set up the teleportation formation in Danding City, he gave the subbody to Night Sorrow. Now, it was very simple for Night Sorrow to set it up. He set up the subbody of Danding City's teleportation formation, and the two sides could teleport to each other. Well, it's done here, said Night Sorrow as he clapped his hands. I didn't expect Brother Night to be a formation master. Chu Lingxiao was very shocked. Are you going to Jiyuan Town now? Asked Yu Yangyu. No, I'm going to see Sixth Sister first. Then, I'll set up the teleportation formation. After that, I'll go back to Taiqing Domain. Big brother, Sixth Sister is in Qingxin Villa, right? Night Sorrow asked Gong Xian. Okay, your world is outside. Yu Yangyu didn't want Night Sorrow to leave so soon. After confirming that Aoi was in Qingxin Villa, Night Sorrow, Yu Yangyu, and Gong Xian went to Qingxin Villa. 13 You're back. Seeing Night Sorrow, Aoi was very happy. She gave Night Sorrow a hug. I missed Sixth Sister, so I came to see her, said Night Sorrow with a smile. I didn't dote on you for nothing. How is Ninth Sister? Asked Aoi. She's fine. She didn't know I was coming back this time, so she didn't come with me, said Night Sorrow with a smile. It's good that you guys are fine. Later, Sixth Sister will prepare some food and wine. Then call the other brothers and sisters over. Let's drink with Master. Aoi was in high spirits. Then they chatted casually. Night Sorrow's other brothers in Medicine Valley all came. Senior Sister, why didn't you go to Longquan Villa? Asked Night Sorrow as he looked at Aoi. I stayed on both sides. After all, this is also my home, said Aoi. The Dragon Spring Courtyard is also Senior Sister's home. Yi Shang took out the deed to the Dragon Spring Courtyard and handed it to Qin Ji. Chapter 643. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go/Little? Sure, Net provides you with wonderful novels to read. Of course not. I just don't have much time to live here. It's more suitable to give it to Senior Sister, Night Sorrow said. Senior Sister doesn't want it. Keep it. Aoi waved her hand, refusing to accept the title deed. I'm back. Why don't I just stay at Senior Sister's place? Night Sorrow pulled Aoi's hand and stuffed the title deed into Aoi's hand. Aoi, just keep it. 13 will come back. This time, he came back specifically to build a teleportation formation for the Medicine Valley, Yu Yangyu said with a smile. 13, if you don't go back to the Medicine Valley, then Sixth Senior Sister will chase after you. Aoi looked at Night Sorrow and said, Sixth Senior Sister, I have something to do. It's not that I don't want to go back to the Medicine Valley, Night Sorrow said with a sigh. Your Sixth Senior Sister just doesn't want you to leave. You don't have to care too much about what she said, Yu Yangyu said with a sigh. After drinking, everyone left. Night Sorrow stayed in Qingxin Cottage to rest. Night Sorrow stayed in the bamboo house that Aoi arranged for him. His mind was filled with movement techniques and speed. Night Sorrow didn't know what Xie Longjuan's element was, but the specialty of flickering light and hunting shadow was to change the shape of the energy shield. It was not circular, but elliptical, to reduce resistance as much as possible. Night Sorrow had been experimenting with changing the shape of the energy shield. This was a problem with the technique of using energy to protect the body. For example, the energy shield in front of the chest and back would be elliptical. Night Sorrow remembered the speed of Wu Lingfei's polar moon wheel and decided to follow this path. He developed his energy shield in the direction of full moon slash. Yi Shang spent the entire night cultivating the form of his protective chi barrier. After daybreak, he practiced his spear arts for a while. Oi walked over with a basin. 13. Hurry up and wash up. Let's have breakfast. 6th Senior Sister, I can do this myself. How could I trouble 6th Senior Sister? Yi Shang hurriedly reached for the basin and began to wash up. After eating breakfast, Night Sorrow told him about his plans to go to Zhuyuan town. 6th Senior Sister has nothing to do, so I'll go with you. This way, we can have more time to chat, Aoi said to Night Sorrow. Sure. Then 6th Senior Sister will come with me. Actually, I also want to talk to 6th Senior Sister. Night Sorrow said happily. Looking at you now, 6th Senior Sister knows that 13 is still the same 13. You haven't changed at all. Aoi sighed as she looked at Night Sorrow. After that, Night Sorrow brought Aoi and Tianyu to the Pill Cauldron Square. Junior brother Night, junior sister Aoi is here. Chu Lingxiao, who was supervising the construction of the teleportation hall, nodded when he saw the two. Senior brother Chu is here. We'll take the teleportation formation and leave for a while. Night Sorrow saluted Chu Lingxiao. Aoi nodded as well. After Mo Chen and Chu Lingfei got married, Aoi didn't continue to be hostile towards Chu Lingxiao. What happened back then could be considered a misunderstanding. Night Sorrow and Aoi arrived at Pill Cauldron City through the teleportation formation. Night Sorrow placed a teleportation crystal in the slot of the teleportation formation and flew towards Zhuyuan town with Aoi on Tianyu. A few years have passed in the blink of an eye. 6th Senior Sister, I still remember the scene when 9th Junior Sister and I sent you back to Zhuyuan village. It's like yesterday. Aoi was touched as she sat beside Night Sorrow. 6th Senior Sister, why don't you come with me? I also have a mansion outside. I plan to live in a place called the City in the Sky. It's very beautiful. 6th Senior Sister can refine pills and brew wine there. That way, 9th Senior Sister and I can see 6th Senior Sister every day. Yishang said. He sincerely hoped that Qingji could live a good life and live a peaceful life. Okay. We'll have to wait for 6th Senior Sister to go back. Shenrong is still young and can't handle things. I'll need your 2nd senior uncle to look after Senior Sister's disciples. Aoi thought about it and said, Okay, there's no rush. There are teleportation formations everywhere. It won't take long if we want to go there. Night Sorrow was very happy to hear Aoi agree. Tianyu's speed was comparable to a beginner saint. The two quickly arrived at Zhuyuan town. Zhuyuan town was now a real city. Night Sorrow looked at it and felt that the scale of the newly built city had surpassed South Sky City. The city completely connected the area between South Sky Town and Zhuyuan town. The original Zhuyuan town was now a scenic spot outside the city. Riding Tianyu, Night Sorrow landed in front of Papa Gu's bamboo house. Night Sorrow and Aoi got off their mounts. Papa Gu walked in with one hand behind his back. Father! Yi Shang hurriedly took 2 steps forward and helped Father Gu into the courtyard. You're still so homesick. However, you've become much stronger. A healthy body is very important. Papa Gu looked at Night Sorrow and said, Father, this courtyard is still the same. Yi Shang said as he reached out to touch the wooden horse that had traces of being burned. Of course, as long as I'm alive, this place will never change. No matter when you come back, it'll always be your home. Papa Gu patted Night Sorrow's shoulder and said, Thank you, Father. Meeting you is my, Night Sorrow's, good fortune. Night Sorrow said with a smile, Come and have some tea. Let's chat while drinking. Aoi said after getting some water to make tea. Father, I'm so happy to see you so energetic. Night Sorrow poured a cup of tea for Papa Goo. Ah, of course. We're all experts in the core condensation stage now. Papa Goo laughed loudly. Then Night Sorrow said that he wanted to invite Papa Goo to live in Dongxian City. It's too far. It's not very convenient. Papa Goo said, Night Sorrow, why don't you just arrange for father and your sworn brother Chin Chin to live in Longquan Courtyard? I don't want to live here. Visit. All right then. Papa Goo, pack up and come with me. We're going to Danding City. Night Sorrow said to Papa Goo. Look at chapter 0 of the original edition. Sigh, I still can't bear to leave. I don't know when I'll be back. Papa Goo said, Papa Goo, you're thinking too much. I'm here to set up a teleportation array. In the future, you can teleport between Danding City and Zhuyuan City as you wish. If you want to come back, it'll only take a moment. Night Sorrow said. He didn't want Papa Goo to feel regret and reluctance. Is that so? That's great. Hearing Night Sorrow's words, Papa Goo became energetic. He really couldn't bear to leave his old neighbors here. Then, under Papa Goo's lead, the three of them went to Zhuyuan City, which was still under construction, and found the person in charge here. When the person in charge saw Night Sorrow, he bowed and greeted. North Pole Peak disciple Zhang Ling greets Vice Valley Master Yi. I'm going to set up a teleportation array here in Zhuyuan City. You'll have to make sure it's safe. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 644. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? Sure, Net provides you with wonderful novels to read. No one had any objections to Night Sorrow's decision. Zhang Ling knew very well why Zhuyuan City was being built. It was because of Night Sorrow's outstanding contributions to the Medicine Valley. Therefore, the Medicine Valley wanted to build Night Sorrow's hometown. With practice, Night Sorrow set up the teleportation array very quickly. In less than half an hour, it was done. He inserted the last piece of the teleportation array in Danding City. This place must not be damaged. Also, the construction of Zhuyuan City must not interfere with Zhuyuan Town. Night Sorrow instructed Zhang Ling, Don't worry, Deputy Valley Master. I will arrange it. Zhang Ling bowed. Then, Night Sorrow and the others left Zhuyuan City and returned to Zhuyuan Town. Night Sorrow, Uncle Nyo, and Aunt Lin drank and ate together. Their old neighbors also came over. Chen Chen also came. They were all rich families in Zhuyuan Town now. They were all very grateful to Night Sorrow for everything he had done for Zhuyuan Town. Then, Papa Goo said that they were going to live in Danding City. This made Uncle Nyo and the others very reluctant. You still don't know, right? Night Sorrow has set up a teleportation array in Bamboo Garden City near our Bamboo Garden Town. With that thing, we can travel thousands or tens of thousands of kilometers in just a few moments. I'll be back when I say I'll be back, said Papa Goo. Hearing Papa Goo's words, everyone felt at ease. This was because Night Sorrow came back because of Papa Goo. If Papa Goo was not in Zhuyuan Town, Night Sorrow might not come back so often. This was everyone's worry. Old Nyo, let me tell you. When I'm not around, you look after my house. If anyone dares to touch a blade of grass or a tree in my yard, I will fight them to the death. Papa Goo said because he did not want Night Sorrow to see the changes in his house. When it was time to rest, Night Sorrow arranged for Aoi to stay in his old room. He chatted with Papa Goo in the room while Chun Chun returned to his attic. They chatted until midnight before Night Sorrow and Old Man Goo went to bed. When he was about to leave the next day, Chen Chen had a different idea. He wanted to develop in Zhuyuan City instead of Danding City. This surprised Night Sorrow, but Old Man Goo was very calm. All right then. If you want to start a business, go ahead. Old Man Goo said. Then, Night Sorrow, Aoi, and Papa Goo arrived at the teleportation array. Many people came to send them off. Waving his hand, the three of them left Bamboo Garden Town for Danding City. Danding City is so prosperous. Bamboo Garden Town can't compare to it at all. The difference is like heaven and earth. Old Man Goo said after exiting the teleportation portal. Dad, why isn't Chin Chin willing to come? Night Sorrow asked. He did not want to be unhappy because of this old man. Sigh. Actually, this isn't something that happened in a day or two. That child is ambitious and doesn't want to be ordinary. Because of the uniqueness of Bamboo Garden Town, the people in Bamboo Garden Town look up to it. He wants to use his connections to develop. He's now a district manager in Bamboo Garden Town. He thinks that I don't know. How can I not know? Old Man Gu sighed. Everyone's choice is different. Then don't force him. It's fine as long as he walks the right path, Night Sorrow said. I don't think he's scheming, but he's ambitious. This is human nature. There's nothing much to say. He hasn't been hanging out with me recently, Old Man Gu said. How can that be? I actually plan to give him some pills and a mount so that he can cultivate properly, Night Sorrow said helplessly. Pills? He thinks that you gave him too many pills and kept saying that he wanted to exchange them for spirit stones. I didn't agree. Maybe he's not satisfied. Old Man Gu said, let's not talk about this anymore. Dad, let's go to the courtyard. Night Sorrow summoned Tianyu and brought Old Man Gu onto Tianyu's back. Aoi released the silver-winged eagle and set off for Longquan Courtyard. When they arrived at Longquan Courtyard, Night Sorrow introduced Old Man Gu to Hai Luo and the others. After knowing Old Man Gu's identity, Hai Luo and the others bowed. They respected Night Sorrow and of course, they would also respect Night Sorrow's family. Dad, you can stay in this mansion in the future. If you're bored, you can go back to Bamboo Garden Town. This storage ring is for you. Night Sorrow took out a storage ring and handed it to Old Man Gu. Storage ring. I know that the senior members of Medicine Valley in our Bamboo Garden City don't have a storage ring. Now that I can use one, it's all thanks to you, Old Man Gu said with a smile. There are resources I've prepared for you inside. In the future, you can cultivate without worry. As for Qin Chen's matter, don't think about it, Night Sorrow said. He was still worried that Old Man Gu would be affected by Qin Chen's matter. We've lived together for more than 10 years. We're the real father and son. He still can't do it. Let's not talk about this. It's nothing. Old Man Gu patted Night Sorrow's shoulder and said, Dad, there are a few more things I want to tell you. First, without your consent, I went to Sikong Chuyu's family to propose. I hope you don't mind. Night Sorrow took the teapot that Hai Luo brought and poured a cup of tea for Old Man Gu. The original 0 0 first 0 0 first 0 0 first 0, ha. I'll only be happy about this. As long as you think it's right, as long as you don't do anything immoral, I'll support you. Old Man Gu smiled so widely that he could not close his mouth. What he hoped to see the most was Night Sorrow being successful and Night Sorrow being able to live a happy life. In his heart, Qin Chen and Night Sorrow were completely different. In his heart, Night Sorrow was no different from his son. Qin Chen was much worse. Therefore, even if Qin Chen had walked his own path, he did not have many thoughts about it. The other thing is that I've avenged you. I killed the guy who cut off your arm, Night Sorrow said. Good, you've paid the price for taking my arm. You've done well. I'm happy, Old Man Gu said after taking a sip of tea. After that, Night Sorrow gave Old Man Gu a silver-winged eagle mount. Seeing the 4th-rank mount, Old Man Gu was overjoyed and immediately flew 2 circles around it. After chatting for a while and arranging for Old Man Gu to rest, Night Sorrow and Aoi chatted. Old Man Gu is very happy. You've done a good job, Aoi said while looking at Night Sorrow. It wasn't easy for a man like him to raise me. In my eyes, he's family. It's just that Qin Chen has disappointed me a little, Night Sorrow said with some emotion. We have to tell eldest senior brother and the others about this. We have to be careful. He can't use your reputation to do anything. People with ambition can do anything. Night Sorrow did not think much of it, but Aoi was worried because the name Night Sorrow was too useful in the Medicine Valley. It could be said that as long as Qin Chen said that he was Night Sorrow's sworn brother, the people in the Medicine Valley would give him face, even if they should not give him face. Okay, I'll go back to the sect with 6th senior sister tomorrow, Night Sorrow said. Chapter 645. Genius 1 second. Remember love go/little? I will provide you with wonderful novels to read. When Night Sorrow was cultivating in the morning, Aoi rode the silver-winged eagle and left the Dragon Spring courtyard. She planned to explain her matters and go to the Taiching region with Night Sorrow. When Night Sorrow was cultivating his spear art, Father Gu also came out to watch. He was now a core condensation cultivator and needed to broaden his horizons. After cultivating for a while, Night Sorrow accompanied Father Gu and strolled around the Dragon Spring courtyard. Other than that, they walked around the celestial water lake. Night Sorrow also said that the Dragon Spring courtyard had a calming effect. This is a good place. It's too difficult. Father Gu said with some emotion. Father Gu, you can live here. Although I gave the courtyard to my 6th senior sister, she won't live here. She doesn't have any relatives. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow didn't hide some things. Besides, it wasn't a big deal. That girl is very good. It's a pity that you have 2 wives. You have to treat her better. Father Gu looked at Night Sorrow and said, I will. Father, you have a lot of mid-grade spirit stones. If you want to go back to Bamboo Garden Town to drink with your old friends, you can go back and have a look. Besides the teleportation array, you also have the silver-winged eagle. It won't take much time. Live more comfortably. Night Sorrow said to Father Gu. I'm your father. Now it's the other way around. Love go little Chu, Father Gu said with a big smile. In the evening, Aoi came back. 6th senior sister, have you taken care of everything? Yi Shan asked. And I told Master, eldest senior brother, and 2nd senior brother. There's no problem. Shen Rong isn't young anymore. He can lead the junior brothers and sisters. Aoi nodded. After eating dinner with Father Gu, Hai Luo, and the others, Night Sorrow took Aoi and rode on Tianyu. With Night Sorrow, Aoi didn't need to release her mount. When they arrived at the teleportation array in Danding City, Night Sorrow took Aoi and started teleporting. Night Sorrow had the celestial token, so it was very convenient for him to teleport. In an hour, Night Sorrow and Aoi arrived at the valley where the teleportation array in the sky. After greeting Yi Linglong, Yi Shang brought Qing Ji out of the canyon and arrived at the real city in the sky. So beautiful, this place is really beautiful, that round moon is really bright. When they arrived at the mountain peak where the city in the sky was located, Qing Ji said with some emotion. Today, we can only see the city in the sky under the moonlight. Tomorrow, we will take 6th senior sister to walk around. Yi Shang said with a smile. At the same time, he took Qing Ji to the mansion. Version Chapter H. Supra _SCO. When they arrived at the mansion, they saw Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu who were cultivating sword skills. The two were surprised to see Aoi, but they were very happy. They pulled Aoi to sit down and drink tea. 6th senior sister, I was worried that you would be lonely in Qingxin Villa. Now, I'm not afraid anymore. We can chat and drink tea together every day. Yang Lei said happily. Yes, I missed you guys too, so I came. It's good that I didn't disturb you guys. Aoi smiled. 6th senior sister, don't say that. I've been looking forward to 6th senior sister's arrival, but I couldn't say it. But 13 has more face. Yang Lei patted Night Sorrow's shoulder. Then, Night Sorrow arranged for Aoi to live in a single pavilion not far from the mansion's main building. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu accompanied Aoi to look at the new residence. Night Sorrow began cultivating in the courtyard in front of the main building. He mainly cultivated the variant flickering light passing shadow that he had developed himself. Night Sorrow's speed was extremely fast under the protection of the special space attribute Air Shield. He was like a shadow under the moonlight. Space resistance was the least effective against space attributes. Plus, Night Sorrow used his body as a blade and had a strong ability to break through space resistance, so his speed increased a lot. Night Sorrow estimated that he was at least twice as fast as before. Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu knew that Aoi was tired from traveling through the teleportation formation, so they told Aoi to rest early. When they came back, they saw Night Sorrow's speed. At this moment, Night Sorrow's speed was extremely terrifying and flexible. Night Sorrow cultivated for a while and stopped. Night Sorrow, what special technique did you obtain this time? Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Yes, it's a flickering light passing shadow. It's the movement technique manual of the Tianji Tower's Grand Elder. Night Sorrow took out the flickering light passing shadow and handed it to the two girls. Can we read it too? Sikong Chiyu asked. I think so. Since she gave it to me, she shouldn't be afraid of it. You guys should take a look. I think it's very effective. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow handed the flickering light passing shadow book to the two girls to study and continued cultivating. He didn't just want to make up for his weakness in speed, he wanted to make speed his strength. Night Sorrow cultivated until the moon rose in the sky. Only then did he and the two girls go to rest. After dawn, Night Sorrow continued to cultivate his spear techniques. It was a combination of spear techniques and movement techniques, integrating movement techniques into combat techniques. If his cultivation was lower, I'm afraid he would be killed instantly. Yang Lei said with some emotion as she watched Night Sorrow cultivate. I can't even see his movements clearly now. He's also a noob who can be killed in one shot. Aoi said with a smile. Sixth senior sister, don't say that. You don't like to fight. Everyone knows that. Yang Lei poured a glass of water for Aoi and said, but I'm also paying attention to cultivation now. My fellow disciples are all cultivating at full speed. I can't be the most useless one. Aoi said. Sixth senior sister wants to improve her combat strength. Let me know if you need anything. Night Sorrow said. Of course, I won't be courteous to you and ninth junior sister. Aoi said. After chatting for a while, Yang Lei and Sikong Chiyu went to the training ground of the god-slaying team to cultivate with the others. Aoi and Night Sorrow also went to watch. After watching for a while, Aoi sighed with emotion. 13, your team is so strong. It's really hard to imagine. Sixth senior sister, actually, the mentality of inaction is very good. You can cultivate slowly and strengthen your combat techniques. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Actually, sixth senior sister's cultivation base is still very high. You have already achieved the unity of body and Tao. It's just that your cultivation base is a little low. Aoi said with a smile. Sixth senior sister is mighty. You should know that many peak void inquiry stage experts can't achieve this. When your cultivation base improves, you will naturally enter the venerable realm. Night Sorrow was very shocked. He did not expect that Aoi's cultivation base would be so high. The unity of body and Tao was higher than the unity of man and sword but lower than the unity of heaven and man. After that, Night Sorrow gave Qin Jin, Ma Zhuang, Tang Tian and Chu Ning some pointers in their cultivation. Even though the four of them had low cultivation bases, their combat power was already very strong. They were definitely much stronger than other cultivators at the same level as them. Night Sorrow wanted to bring Aoi around. However, Aoi wanted to stay behind and watch them. She wanted to learn from the cultivation methods of the god-slaying team. If it were other people, the members of the god-slaying team would feel awkward. However, Aoi did not feel that way because they knew that Aoi was the most respected senior sister of Night Sorrow and Yang Lei. Yi Shang brought Tianyu down from the peak of the mountain and went to the edge of the lake to practice his movement technique. Yi Shang had a lot of energy in his heart. Ji Yu Hao, didn't you control the time element? Didn't you have fast speed? Then let's see who is faster and who is stronger. Chapter 646. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go/Little? We provide you with interesting novels to read. Night Sorrow cultivated while Tianyu and Silver Fox played on the side. Now that he had speed, Night Sorrow practiced his agility. He learned from Wu Lingfei's Extreme Moon Wheel. The Extreme Moon Wheel revolved around Wu Lingfei, so he could cut in whichever direction he wanted. Night Sorrow controlled his energy shield, which was similar to the Extreme Moon Wheel, to rotate. The sharpest side of the energy shield would point in whichever direction he wanted to attack. Night Sorrow forgot about the time when he cultivated. Even at night, he cultivated under the moonlight. Rebuilding the Night Moon dynasty was his motivation. Taking care of the other dynasties and Ji Yu's family was his desire. While Night Sorrow was cultivating, on an island in the sea, a group of men in black reported the current situation to a man in a purple robe. You're saying that the young man with the surname Yi is the son of Prince Wuyo under Prince Linghuan? The man in the purple robe reached out and grabbed the man in black who was reporting to him. He looked excited. Yes, I've been to Night Moon City and stayed there for a few days. The Night Moon City has regained its popularity and a teleportation formation has been set up. Night Moon City, Wuyo City, and Wuemo City have all started to rebuild. All the resources were provided by this young man called Night Sorrow, the man in black said nervously. Who's in charge of Night Moon City? The man in the purple robe threw the man in black aside and asked. Yi Linglan and Yi Lingyuan. They're currently elders and are in charge of Night Moon City. They listened to young Master Night Sorrow's orders, the man in black said. I don't need you to investigate Night Moon Dynasty anymore. Go to the other dynasties and find out what they're doing. If this king isn't here, put the news in the cave. The man in purple robe pointed at the cave behind him and left the island in a flash. Cousin Wu Yun, now that Night Moon is being rebuilt, doesn't that mean we're not far from fighting back? The man in black who was caught by the man in purple robe asked. Wu Kei, the higher-ups have their own plans. The rebuilding of Night Moon might be a good thing or a bad thing. If it's good, Night Moon is starting to recover. If it's bad, it might mess up the plan. We'll follow Sixth King's orders, the man called Wu Yun said. 9 Yongjiao unspecified currency I waifu look at little and soon, the group of men in black disappeared into the night. Yi Lingyuan sat in the City Lord Manor and looked at the reports from Night Moon City, Worry-Free City, and Void Ink City. He calculated the cost of rebuilding the city and planned the allocation of resources. Love go, little, say Chu he did not lack resources now, but he had to use them sparingly. He understood that even if Night Sorrow had resources, they were not easy to come by. Suddenly, Yi Lingyuan stood up because a man in purple robe appeared in front of him. Sixth King? Is it really you, Sixth King? Yi Lingyuan was excited. That's right, it's this king. This king knows you. Back then, you were the captain of a law enforcement team in Night Moon City. The man in purple robe nodded. Subordinate Yi Lingyuan greets Sixth King. Yi Lingyuan bowed. This king knows a little about Night Moon, but he's not very clear. Now, tell this king everything in detail. The man in purple robe walked to the main seat and sat down. Following that, Yi Lingyuan recounted everything he had learned since his return. He spoke in great detail, mainly about Yishan's situation. He's able to use spatial rend without entering the venerable realm. There's no doubt that he's Night Moon's direct descendant. However, is the identity of Young Master suitable? You should know what Young Master means to Night Moon Dynasty. In Night Moon Dynasty, there are only 2 people who can be called Young Master, said the man in purple robe. He has the Worry-Free City's token on him, and there's also a birthmark on his back. Back then, this subordinate saw the birthmark on young Mistress Yi Xiaoxiao's back. This subordinate is willing to swear on the honor of the Yi clan. Then that's it. If he's Wuyo's nephew's child, then he's Night Moon's young master. The man in purple robe clenched his right fist. Sixth King shouldn't be suspicious. If he's not from Night Moon, he wouldn't be willing to pay so much for Night Moon, said Yi Lingyuan. I'm not suspicious. This king wants to be sure because he's this king's grandnephew. He's Night Moon's future, said the man in purple robe excitedly. His name was Yi Lingxie, and he was Yi Lingyuan's cousin. He was a famous king in Night Moon Dynasty and had a very high status in Night Moon Dynasty. Even though Yi Linglan and Yi Lingyuan had entered the Venerable Realm and obtained titles, their status and combat strength were still far from his. Young Master should be in the city in the sky. Sixth King, you can go take a look. We have a teleportation formation here that leads to the city in the sky, said Yi Lingyuan. Yi Lingyuan said. He wanted Yi Lingxie to meet Yi Shang. If Yi Lingxie confirmed it, then Yi Shang's position as the young lord would be confirmed. Where is the city in the sky? Asked Yi Lingxie with a frown. It's the transfer station between Night Moon City and Taiching City's teleportation formation. Because Yuexiang City was unwilling to get involved in this, Young Master had no choice but to find another place to build a teleportation formation. The place he found was named the City in the Sky, said Yi Lingyuan. Yuexiang City was unwilling to get involved in this? Are they still worthy of being the descendants of the Yi clan? Yi Lingxie waved his hand and struck a large hole in the green stone floor of the city lord's office. Young Master said that Night Moon only had the souls of those who died in battle and no one was left alive. However, he didn't want to force people against their will, so he left Yuexiang City and chose the city in the sky. In addition, Tianji Tower opened a branch again. When they cooperated with them, their chief supervisor was very polite and even said that he owed young Master Night Sorrow a favor, continued Yi Lingyuan. Very good indeed. Night Moon has a successor. Yi Lingxie's eyes were full of light. Young Master's combat strength is astonishing. On Night Moon, he killed the venerables of the Tianfeng dynasty. Recently, he was worried that the other dynasties would pay attention to Night Moon City, so he kept fighting outside. He destroyed the cities of the other dynasties and killed no less than a few venerables. Yi Lingyuan was full of pride when he said this. Accompany this king for a walk on Night Moon City. For so many years, because I was sad and couldn't face the Yi clan members who died in battle, I haven't returned even once. Now, it's time to go and take a look, said Yi Lingxie as he stood up. Then, Yi Lingyuan brought Yi Lingxie to Night Moon City. Yi Lingxie closed his eyes as he looked at the blood-stained monument. His body trembled miserably. The bloodstains on it were left by young Master Night Sorrow when he killed the venerables of the Tianfeng dynasty. Young Master said that he would bring the heads of the other dynasty's core members to pay their respects, said Yi Lingyuan. Very good. That's Wuyo's battle flag. Let's hang this battle flag first. When the Night Moon dynasty's battle flag is hung up, it's time to counterattack, said Yi Lingxie as he looked at the battle flag in the damaged hall. Sixth Prince, what's the situation in Night Moon City now? Asked Yi Lingyuan. How should I put it? Let's go to the city in the sky and meet with the Night Moon's young master. Then we'll explain the situation, said Yi Lingxie. Chapter 647. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go/Little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow was practicing his movement technique by the lakeside. When he felt that he was familiar with it, he rode on Tianyu and returned to Sky City. He had just returned to the mansion and hadn't even had a sip of water. Yi Linglan and Yi Lingyuan brought Yi Lingxie to the mansion. Night Sorrow put down the teacup in his hand and looked at Yi Lingxie. Yi Lingxie, who was wearing a purple robe and had his hair tied up, had a strong aura. The two of them looked at each other. Yi Linglan and Yi Lingyuan didn't say anything because they couldn't speak. You are Night Sorrow? Yi Lingxie asked after a while. I am. May I ask who you are? Night Sorrow asked after answering. This king is Yi Lingxie. He used to be called King Lingxie in Night Moon Dynasty, Yi Lingxie said. Young Master, we know this person. He is King Lingxie of Night Moon Dynasty, Yi Linglan said. Night Sorrow cupped his hands. Junior Night Sorrow greets Senior. It's not appropriate for you to do this now. This isn't something you should do, Yi Lingxie said. It's not appropriate, it's not something I should do. Alright, I won't interfere in Night Moon City's matters anymore. However, I will still interfere in Wuyo City's matters because if I'm not mistaken, that's where my parents live, Night Sorrow said after letting out a sigh. 13. Just do your own thing. Yang Lei looked at Yi Lingxie a little angrily. It's good for young people to be hot-blooded, but you have to wait for this king to finish speaking. Yi Lingxie's mouth twitched. Senior, please speak. Night Sorrow is listening. Night Sorrow nodded. This king said that it's not appropriate for you to do this because it will drag you into the heart of the struggle and create a great danger for yourself. Others can do these things. There's no need for a young lord like you to fight in the heartlands of several great dynasties every day. This is not something a young lord like Night Moon should do. Yi Lingxie smiled bitterly. He didn't think that his half-spoken words would cause Night Sorrow to misunderstand. Young Master, Prince Lingxie is your sixth uncle in terms of seniority. He's very close to you. He's also a direct descendant, said Yi Linglan. Z*H, you are Wuyo's nephew's son. This king is his uncle, Yi Lingxie said as he looked at Night Sorrow. According to Elder Linglan and Elder Lingyuan, I am Prince Wio's son. However, this needs to be confirmed by Prince Wio. In addition, I want to know the current situation of Prince Wio and young consort Wuyu. Night Sorrow asked. When he asked the question, Night Sorrow's hand trembled. He was afraid of hearing bad news. They're both doing well. Nephew Wio was heavily injured back then. He should have recovered after these years, Yi Ling Xie said after thinking for a moment. How should it be? Are you not sure? Night Sorrow asked anxiously. Because this king hasn't seen his clansmen for 20 years. Back then, when they retreated to the Sea of Night Moon, Brother Invincible King swore that no saint of the Night Moon would leave the Sea of Night Moon. This king stayed outside to gather information. He can't enter the sealed area. However, he can still contact Night Moon, said Yi Ling Xie. Then contact them. I want to know their situation. I also want to confirm if I'm their son, said Yi Ling Xie. His voice was a little choked up. All along, Night Sorrow had been very strong. However, news of his parents was more important than the heavens to him. He couldn't help but be a little emotional. You must be. There are only 2 fifth-generation descendants. The other one is confirmed to be dead. So you must be Nephew Wio's son. Also, don't you have a birthmark on your shoulder? It's recorded in the genealogy. Show it to this king. This king will notify the Night Moon Sea clan, Yi Ling Xie said. Night Sorrow nodded and showed his birthmark to Yi Ling Xie. Fortunately, I have a birthmark. Otherwise, it would be very troublesome. There are other ways to confirm it, but there's no need for that. Your identity is now unmistakable. You can call me Sixth Uncle. Dear Uncle, Yi Ling Xie said to Night Sorrow. Sixth Uncle. Night Sorrow bowed to Yi Ling Xie. Good. This king is happy that Night Moon has a successor. Who are these people to you? Introduce them to this king. Yi Ling Xie looked at Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu and asked. Sixth Uncle, this is Sikong Chuyu from the Sikong clan. She's my fiancée. This is my 9th senior sister. And she's also my fiancée. Night Sorrow introduced Sikong Chuyu and Yang Lei to Yi Ling Xie. Then this is also my fiancée. Introduce her. Yi Ling Xie gestured at Aoi with his chin. Sixth Uncle, this is my 6th senior sister. She's not my fiancée, Night Sorrow said embarrassedly. 6th senior sister, it doesn't matter. It's just a matter of time. Come, make a pot of tea. 6th Uncle is happy today. Really happy, Yi Ling Xie said as he found a place to sit. Senior, Junior Aoi will make tea for you. Don't talk nonsense in the future. Aoi blushed as she made a pot of tea for Yi Ling Xie. It's not nonsense. Night Sorrow, don't worry. Later, I'll contact Night Moon in the sea and ask you about your nephew and niece-in-law's situation. You also have to tell the clan about your situation, Yi Ling Xie said after taking a sip of tea. Night Sorrow only needs to know that my parents are safe, Night Sorrow said. Also, don't mess around anymore. If 6th Uncle finds out about you causing trouble in the other dynasties, it's too risky. It's not a joke. Yi Ling Xie looked at Night Sorrow and said, in the past, he didn't know and wasn't sure. Now that he was sure, how could he let Night Sorrow take any more risks? I have a plan. I always send people to investigate first. I only make a move when there are no experts I can't contend with, Night Sorrow said with a smile. That's too dangerous. Night Moon will be fine as it is now. 6th Uncle, after contacting the clan, go to the Yun dynasty and try to stabilize the current situation, Yi Ling Xie said. With Uncle taking charge of the situation, Night Sorrow will be much more relaxed. In the future, I'll only be responsible for fighting, Night Sorrow said. Uncle's seniority is higher than yours, but you are Night Moon's young master. The young master's status is noble. Even Uncle has to listen to the young master's orders. This is the clan's rule, Yi Ling Xie said. 6th Prince. The 4th generation of Venerables is a prince. What about the 5th generation of Venerables? The young master can kill beginner Venerables as easily as taking something out of his pocket. He won't have been a Venerables for long, Yi Ling Lan said. You ask this king. How would this king know? Let the clan's emperor discuss it. This king will leave while you guys are chatting. Night Sorrow, wait for this king's news. After taking a sip of tea, Yiling Xie got up and left. He still had a lot of things to do. After confirming Night Sorrow's identity, Yiling Xie had to report to the clan. Before Night Moon's incident, there were only 2 fifth-generation descendants of Night Moon. Even if there were more now, they couldn't compare to Night Sorrow's identity. Night Moon had never been able to use spatial rend before becoming a Venerables. In addition, Night Sorrow had already changed Night Moon's situation. He had to find a way to stabilize it and assist Night Sorrow in helping Night Moon develop. Back then, Yiling Xie was in charge of Night Moon's external affairs, so he still had some connections. Chapter 648. A Genius Remembers Love in 1 Second? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Young Lord, the 6th King is one of Night Moon's most powerful combatants. He's known as the heretic King Yiling Xie in the Grand Clarity domain. Now that he's back, it won't be a problem unless it's a saint or an invincible venerable. Yiling Lan said excitedly. You're right. Yiling Lan said excitedly. This is a good sign. I wonder what news 6th uncle will bring back. Night Sorrow's mind was somewhat unsteady, and he couldn't calm down as he paced back and forth. Night Sorrow, calm down. Didn't 6th uncle say that uncle and auntie are still alive? They're just injured. It's not a big problem. Yang Lei pulled Night Sorrow to sit down and said. Night Sorrow nodded, took out a jar of wine, and drank 2 mouthfuls. Sikong Chuyu said, the Yi clan is going all out. The day they come out, the battle prowess of a saint with spatial attributes will definitely be astonishing. The Taiching domain will be bathed in blood. Whoever committed the sins back then will have to pay for them. Wait. Night Sorrow, calm down and wait. The Night Sorrow knows about the current situation and should have made some decisions. Aoi looked at Night Sorrow and said, all right, you two make some side dishes. We want to drink some wine. Yang Lei said to the 2 maidservants. Then, Yang Lei, Sikong Chuyu, and Aoi accompanied Night Sorrow for a drink. Then, Night Sorrow brought Tianyu to the edge of the lake to practice his movement technique. Anyone would be under a lot of pressure. He hasn't felt the warmth of a family for so many years. His parents are just 2 words to him, and they're nothing, Aoi said. Night Sorrow began to cultivate by the lake, fusing his movement technique, spear technique, and palm technique together. Yang Lei and the others didn't disturb Night Sorrow. They knew that Night Sorrow needed some peace and quiet. Every day, Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu would go to the God-slaying squad's training ground to cultivate with the others. The main reason was that they didn't want to leave the squad. Qing Ji also came to cultivate every day. She was motivated by the others, which gave her the motivation to cultivate. Seeing Aoi cultivate and Aoi's realm made Ling Long, Yun Huang and the others very envious. This realm was too rare. Yun Huang was at this realm now, but his mastery wasn't as deep as Aoi, let alone Ling Long. The 2 asked Aoi for advice, but she didn't know what to say. Yang Lei then told them about Aoi's situation. Yun Huang and Ling Long felt helpless because they couldn't learn from Aoi. 9th senior sister, why don't we talk to Captain and let 6th senior sister join our god-slaying squad? Ho Jian said. I can't do that because 6th senior sister almost never participates in any battles. 6th senior sister is a rank 5 cultivator, but you can ask her if she has ever killed a human or even a demonic beast before, Yang Lei said with a smile. 6th senior sister, you've reached rank 5 and haven't killed a human or a demonic beast before? Xueling looked at Aoi in surprise. Other than sparring, I've only fought once. When I was sending 13 home, I met the enemy who killed my 12th junior brother. But she was the one who killed him. Aoi pointed at Yang Lei embarrassedly. Goddess. She's really an otherworldly goddess. I'm really impressed, Ling Long said as she rubbed her forehead. Don't worry, I can help you guys refine pills, brew wine, or something like that, Aoi said with a smile. You guys don't know, but the good wine that Night Sorrow brought out was all brewed by 6th senior sister, Yang Lei said proudly as she pulled Aoi's arm. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation, 9th senior sister. Can 6th senior sister really join our god-slaying squad? Not everyone in the god-slaying squad is a combat member. I really like 6th senior sister, Nan Liu said. You'll have to ask Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow respects 6th senior sister very much and doesn't want 6th senior sister to be wronged. Let's wait for Night Sorrow to come back first, Yang Lei said with a smile. At the mention of Night Sorrow, the others were speechless. Everyone knew that Night Sorrow was currently cultivating by the lake at the foot of Sky City. Half a month later, Yi Lingxie returned. When he heard that Night Sorrow was cultivating under the lake, he went directly to the lake. At this time, Night Sorrow was using the space attribute to increase his speed and displayed his spear skills. Yi Lingxie could only see his shadow and hear the sound of air being torn apart. This shocked him, because even supremacies weren't as fast as Night Sorrow. Noticing Yi Lingxie's arrival, Night Sorrow stopped cultivating. He wiped the sweat from his forehead and walked up to Yi Lingxie. 6th uncle, is there any news about my parents? There is. It's all good news. Let's go back and talk about it. You've been cultivating for half a month. Don't you know how to take care of yourself? Yi Lingxie said and flew toward Sky City. Night Sorrow called out to Tianyu and followed closely behind. When Night Sorrow and Yi Lingxie returned to the mansion, Aoi, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chuyu had already finished brewing tea. Yi Linglan had also come over. Sit down, sit down. Let's talk slowly. Yi Lingxie waved his hand at Night Sorrow. Then Yi Lingxie told him about the current situation of Night Moon Sea's Yi clan. Prince Wuyo's injuries had already healed. However, his life source had been damaged in the battle back then. He still had 100 years of lifespan left. In addition, young concubine Wuyo was also doing well. 10 years ago, she had given birth to a daughter named Yin Xiao. Hearing the name Yin Xiao, Night Sorrow's eyes moistened. He knew that in his parents' hearts, he was Yi Xiaoxiao. It's good that they're safe. As long as they're safe. Night Sorrow muttered softly. However, the family wants us to stabilize the situation first. No saints in the family can leave the Night Moon Sea. In addition, it'll be difficult for them to take revenge. There are some things you might not know. Back then, the Tianfeng dynasty sent out a saint to ambush us. They heavily injured Brother Linghuan and several imperial uncles. After 2 imperial uncles retreated with their clansmen, they died from their injuries. Yi Lingxie's voice was somewhat low because this was the death of the Night Moon. If no saints come out, how long do we have to wait? Sikong Chuyu was somewhat anxious. If the experts of the Night Moon dynasty didn't come out, Night Sorrow's side would be under a lot of pressure. I'll hold on. As long as I don't fall, I won't let the Night Moon dynasty get hurt again. My parents are fine, and I still have my sister. I can fight without any worries. Night Sorrow exhaled. Calm down. There are many 5th-generation members of the Night Moon dynasty, but they're not direct descendants. If their bloodline isn't pure enough, they won't be able to cultivate the spatial rend. You're the only direct descendant of the Night Moon dynasty's 5th generation, the only young master of the Night Moon dynasty. How can you not pay attention to your own safety? Besides, you still have them. A man must be responsible. Dying is actually easy, but sometimes living is difficult. Didn't I also endure it? Yi Lingxie slammed the table and said, "Thank you for your reminder, uncle." Night Sorrow looked somewhat apologetically at Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. He knew that his words just now were somewhat irresponsible. Brother Linghuan is already a half-step saint. It's just that he was too heavily injured to recover, so he's only half a step away from becoming a saint. The other imperial uncles and Brother Linghuan are much weaker. Nephew Wu Yu originally also had a chance, but if his body's problem isn't solved, it's all talk. Yi Lingxie sighed. If there's a problem, then solve it. There's nothing impossible. Sikong Chuyu said. Chapter 649. Genius 1 second. Remember Love Go/Little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. You need resources? That's easy. What do you need? Night Sorrow asked directly when he heard this topic. You need treasures to replenish life force. Brother Ling Huan, Imperial Uncle Shin Xian, and Imperial Aunt Shin Yu all need them. Even Prince Wu Yu needs them. Cultivation resources are also in short supply. Back then, the Knight clan took away most of the resources, but the elders of the clan were reluctant to use them. They used them all to nurture the younger generation of the Knight clan, Yi Lingxie said helplessly. I can solve this problem. There is no better treasure than life spirit fluid and life crystals to replenish life force and repair life source. High-level cultivators use top-grade spirit stones and top-grade spirit stones. I have both, Knight Sorrow said excitedly. To be able to help the Knight Moon dynasty, help his ancestors, and heal his father, Knight Sorrow didn't feel bad about the resources. Instead, he was very excited. Everything he had accumulated in the past could finally be put to good use. You really have them? Yi Lingxie was also excited. If Knight Sorrow said these things, then the return of the Knight Moon clan would be much earlier. Here are 5 bottles of life spirit liquid. Here are 30 life crystals. Here are 200 top-grade spirit stones. This storage ring is filled with high-grade spirit stones. Yi Shan took out a bunch of resources in one go. The heavens bless the Knight Moon. The heavens really bless the Knight Moon. I don't need that much. Let me count. There are 30 drops in one bottle. 2 bottles of life spirit fluid should be enough. Yi Lingxie looked at the bottles of life spirit fluid. 6th uncle, don't worry about me. Take enough, Knight Sorrow said. 2 bottles are enough. Since you have life spirit fluid, give nephew Wu Yu a few life crystals. Top-grade spirit stones can only be used by peak venerables, half-saints, and saints. 6th uncle, take half. As for the top-grade spirit stones, 6th uncle, take all the top-grade spirit stones. I still have some. Knight Sorrow interrupted Yi Lingxie's calculations. Good. With these resources, the Knight Moon clan will rise without obstacles. Our clan members with old injuries can also recover. Yi Lingxie was excited. His hands trembled as he held the resources. The upper echelons of the Yi clan brought their juniors and retreated to a certain region of Knight Moon Sea. After a discussion, they decided to leave the lightly injured Yi Lingxie outside to gather information and gather resources. But after so many years, the resources that Yi Lingxie had gathered were limited. Now that Yi Shang had directly solved the problem, how could he not be excited? Injured? Then I have the medicinal cauldron spirit liquid here. Not only is it effective for healing, but it is also very effective in assisting cultivation. It is even more effective than high-grade spirit stones. Yi Shang took out the wine jug that contained the medicinal cauldron spirit liquid. Controlling his emotions, Yi Lingxie opened the wine jug and glanced inside before looking at Yi Shang. You prodigal child, you actually used a wine jug to store such a precious treasure. Give 6th uncle a third of it. Aoi helped Knight Sorrow fill the cauldron of life spirit fluid and gave it to Yi Lingxie. Knight Sorrow, you've solved the Knight Moon clan's problem. 6th uncle can't thank you because you're the young master of the Knight Moon clan. But I'm really excited, Yi Lingxie said after receiving the resources. Because I'm from the Knight Moon clan, I should do this. I look forward to the Knight Moon clan's rise, Knight Sorrow said. Also, the clan already knows about your situation. They ordered me to take good care of you and stabilize the current situation. I think that nephew Weo and niece-in-law should be very happy to hear that you're well. The Knight clan is also very happy. The Knight clan's direct line of descendants is a big deal. It's always been a worry for everyone. For many years, the Knight clan's lack of direct descendants has been a big problem. This time, you should be able to change it, Yi Lingxie said as he looked at Yang Lei and Sikong Chuyu. Uncle. Knight Sorrow didn't know what to say. All right, I have to send these resources back as soon as possible. This is the clan's biggest problem. Once it's solved, we won't have to worry anymore. Yi Lingxie nodded at Knight Sorrow and left. He couldn't wait to shove the resources into the hands of his clansmen. 13. Did you lose a lot of resources this time? Yang Lei asked with a smile. She wanted to change the topic to make Knight Sorrow feel more relaxed. You all know that I don't use spirit stones for cultivation. It's fine as long as I have enough resources. I can still handle this level of resources. In fact, the only thing useful to me is the life essence. Spirit stones and cauldron spirit elixirs are nothing, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow's cultivation could be supported by his soul power, chi, and bloodline talent. The pagoda of time and space could help him. He could still continue. However, the cultivation of the myriad Daos treasured tome was more troublesome. Currently, Night Sorrow was using the black tortoise crystal. This was the 5th stage of the Tao querying realm and the 6th stage of the spirit refinement realm. Night Sorrow had also prepared the resources. The blood tortoise crystal could help, but Night Sorrow had a higher goal. The 7th stage of the myriad Daos treasured tome was not the end. He still had to cultivate after the 7th stage. However, he didn't have any supplementary resources. Night Sorrow was saving the life essence for backup. You're really different. You're ruthless. Yang Lei looked at Night Sorrow and said, Hee, I still have what you need. What I have is yours, right? 6th senior sister, if you need anything, just tell me, Night Sorrow said. Sure. You're my junior brother. I won't stand on ceremony with you. Aoi smiled at Night Sorrow. I forgot to ask 6th granduncle to bring some elixirs back, Night Sorrow said. There's no hurry. It won't be too late to give them to 6th granduncle when he comes back, Sikong Chuyu said. Also, with 6th granduncle around, our engagement ceremony can go on. When 6th granduncle comes back and stabilizes things here, I'll tell him to help me make a trip, Night Sorrow said with a smile. That's right. With 6th granduncle and Father Gu, it's totally possible, Yang Lei said. Right now, Yishang's heart was very relaxed because his parents were safe. All that was left was to fight, and the thing that Yishang was least afraid of was fighting. Night Sorrow, you're relaxed now. You have to take care of your body in the future. Don't work so hard. Sikong Chuyu looked at Night Sorrow and said, seeing Night Sorrow cultivate so hard every day, Sikong Chuyu's heart ached. I know. My cultivation has been rising a little fast recently. I have to stabilize it. If I want to break through to the supremacy realm, I have to stabilize it. Night Sorrow nodded. He did not want to have an unstable foundation. Yes, it's best to stabilize it. A solid foundation will be of great help in the future. Aoi nodded. I'll ask Yun Huang. If there are any suitable cities, we'll go and destroy 2 more. This way, they'll be suspicious and want to defend themselves. They won't care about Night Moon City. Night Sorrow planned to go out and kill. That's fine, but we still have to be stable. The news must be accurate. We can't be tricked, Sikong Chuyu said. Chapter 650. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. That's a good idea. The GU family shouldn't be as vigilant as the other dynasties. The other dynasties have been frightened by us, so their defenses must be tight. On the other hand, the GU family should be more relaxed. Yang Lei agreed with Night Sorrow's opinion. Then, Night Sorrow went to communicate with Yun Huang. Those shameless people. I've scouted a few cities. In the taverns and inns near the city lord's mansion, there are cultivators with cultivation bases that I can't see. If I can't find them, then I must have hit a nail on the head. Yun Huang told him about the recent situation. These days, Yun Huang had been going out to scout, but he couldn't make a move even after scouting many cities. This made him very angry. He was looking forward to fighting, but he couldn't fight in this situation. Then let's change targets. You go scout the cities of the Sky Pillar family in the Sky Pillar region. We can do it there too. Night Sorrow expressed his thoughts. Okay, I'll go scout now. Once I'm done, we'll kill. Yun Huang got up and left. His hands were itching for a fight. After Yun Huang left, Night Sorrow returned to the mansion and chatted with Yang Lei, Sikong Chuyu, and Aoi. Night Sorrow was in high spirits because he knew that his parents were fine. There was no better news than this. As for his father, Yi Wuyo, the source of his body had been damaged, but with treasures like life spirit fluid and life crystals, he could recover. Love go little say, while Night Sorrow was happy, Yang Lei and the others were also happy. They all knew that Night Sorrow couldn't let go of his family. Now, the news brought by Yi Lingxia couldn't be any better. In the evening, they drank a little wine together. Then, Night Sorrow went to the lake below the city in the sky to cultivate. Since he did not lack realms, his cultivation would naturally increase. Night Sorrow wanted to increase his combat strength. After cultivating for a while, Night Sorrow had an idea. He wanted to try using the Void Air Shield to replace the Space Air Shield to see how fast it was. Night Sorrow's body began to move as he activated his speed. After flashing around a few times, Night Sorrow discovered a special situation. The Space Shield could cut through obstacles, but after the Nothingness Shield changed shape, the sharp Nothingness Shield's tip was able to melt away some of the obstacles. Dissolve all obstacles. Such an effect shocked Night Sorrow. This ability was heaven-defying. Soon after, Night Sorrow circulated his true chi and poured it into the reincarnation spear. Then, he condensed his true chi into a point and shot it out. After shooting out the spear, Night Sorrow discovered a change. A small empty area appeared in front of the spear tip. Everything was melted away, but the point was very small. This situation made Night Sorrow understand that it wasn't that the nothingness attribute wasn't strong enough, but that his true chi wasn't condensed enough. If he condensed it to the extreme, the melting effect would occur. After understanding the characteristics of the nothingness attribute, Night Sorrow was shocked. This meant that as long as he continued to cultivate, when the quality of his true chi reached a certain limit, he could form a nothingness shield and melt away all attacks that came close. This meant that the attack wouldn't touch his body. After stabilizing his emotions, Night Sorrow continued to cultivate. Although the nothingness attribute was strong, it was still inferior to the space attribute in terms of speed. After all, the space attribute was the strength of speed. After cultivating for 2 days, Night Sorrow felt that his speed and agility were no longer a problem. Then he returned to his mansion. Keiko? New chapter number 1. There were only servants in the mansion. Yang Lei, Sikong Chu, and Oi weren't there. Night Sorrow smiled and walked towards the God-slaying squad's martial arts field. He guessed that the 3 of them were there. When he reached the martial arts field, Night Sorrow saw that everyone was cultivating. Aoi was also cultivating with Ma Shizhuang and the others. Captain is here. Seeing Night Sorrow arrive, everyone greeted him. 6th Senior Sister, you're also cultivating the formation combination? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. It's quite interesting, so I'm practicing with everyone. Aoi smiled and nodded at Night Sorrow. Captain, everyone wants to invite 6th Senior Sister to join our team. Ho Jian and Nan Liue walked over and said, It's not suitable. My 6th Senior Sister doesn't like to kill or participate in battles. Night Sorrow shook his head. He didn't want Aoi to do something she didn't like. But cultivators have to fight, Linglong said. 6th Senior Sister has me as her junior brother. If she wants to kill someone, I'll do it for her. Night Sorrow replied without hesitation. Captain, you've misunderstood me. Fighting isn't necessarily about killing people. We also have to fight to protect ourselves. Besides, our God-slaying squad isn't necessarily a combat member. We need people for logistics, planning, and so on. Isn't 6th Senior Sister good at alchemy? We can't expect you to do alchemy alone, Linglong said. 6th Senior Sister, what do you think? After hearing Linglong's words, Night Sorrow thought for a moment and looked at Aoi. He felt that Linglong's words made sense. Aoi wasn't willing to kill people, but she had to fight. After all, cultivators had to protect themselves. I quite like this squad. If you don't force me to kill people, it's fine. Aoi nodded at Night Sorrow. Alright, Linglong, you guys make the arrangements. After hearing Aoi's words, Night Sorrow thought for a moment and made a decision. The members of the God-slaying squad practiced their battle techniques and joint attack formations. Night Sorrow meditated at the side. In the evening, Night Sorrow brought Yang Lei, Sikong Chuyu, and Aoi back to the mansion. 6th Senior Sister, even if you join the God-slaying squad, just do what you like. If you don't want to fight, then don't fight, Night Sorrow said to Aoi, who was brewing tea. Sixth senior sister understands. Sixth senior sister is very touched by your words today. With a junior brother like you, sixth senior sister is content. Aoi looked at Night Sorrow and nodded. What words? Night Sorrow thought for a moment but couldn't think of anything. It should be. If sixth senior sister wants to kill someone, I'll do it for her, Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. She naturally knew that this sentence had touched Aoi the most. Yes, there is such a sentence. Sixth senior sister is very content. Back then, eldest senior brother caught Chu Lingxiao and taught him a lesson. Eldest senior brother said that if anyone bullied me, he would teach them a lesson. Now, 13th junior brother is even more domineering than eldest senior brother, Aoi said as she wiped the corner of her eyes. Yang Lei patted Aoi's shoulder. They all love sixth senior sister. No one said that to me. Because you can do it. Besides, there are some things that you don't need to say. 13th junior brother will do it for you. Aoi looked at Yang Lei and said with a smile. After a night of cultivation, the few of them once again arrived at the martial arts practice grounds. At this time, Yun Huang had returned. Captain, it's done. I went to Ji family's rebuilt Ji Wang city to investigate. I think we can make a move. That's the origin of Ji family. If they suffer another heavy blow, they will suffer greatly, Yun Huang said. Chapter 651. Genius 1 second. Remember love divided by go divided by little? We will provide you with interesting novels to read. Night Sorrow then gathered his men. Sixth senior sister, you don't have to go. Love go little, say Chu. All right. Aoi nodded. Let's go. Night Sorrow led the members of the god-slaying team to the teleportation array. After a few teleportations, the group arrived at Ji Royal City. Night Sorrow, who had arrived first, killed the guards of the Ji family's teleportation array without hesitation. Then, the others teleported over one after another. 2 groups of people will guard the teleportation array. The rest of you kill behind me. Remember, do not approach the City Lord's mansion without a long whistle. Night Sorrow rode the Tianyu toward the City Lord's mansion. Everyone hurry up. Don't be too far away from the captain. Also, don't hesitate to set fire to any new buildings. Burn all the high-rise buildings and extravagant buildings that don't seem to be privately owned. Ho Jian gave the order. Night Sorrow threw out torches from time to time. As long as there was a building that fired ballistae, Night Sorrow would throw his torch over. Moments later, Night Sorrow arrived at the City Lord's mansion. Behind him, flames filled the sky. Damn it, you piece of shit. Someone rushed out of the City Lord's mansion and roared at Night Sorrow with a face full of anger. He was Ji Yuandang, who had discovered that Night Sorrow had bought the Saint Crystals in Qingtian City and wanted to kill him. Love go, little Si Chu, seeing you, I remember that you wanted to rob me of my treasure last time. Today I will rob you. Night Sorrow rushed toward Yuandang in a flash. Seeing Yuandang, Night Sorrow recalled Yuandang's hateful face. Now that he had the chance, of course, he wanted to kill him. At this moment, Night Sorrow was moving extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he was right in front of Ji Yu and Yuandang, thrusting his samsara blade towards Yuandang's throat. Night Sorrow's speed made Yuandang's expression change drastically. He never thought that Night Sorrow would be so fast. His venerable binding was completely ineffective, so he could only wave his long sword to defend himself. Ji Yu, who was only a 3rd-grade venerable, was knocked back with a single spear strike. Night Sorrow unleashed his speed, and the reincarnation spear continuously struck Ji Yu's body. Ji Yu could only passively defend himself, and couldn't even dodge. The battle went on for a while, and no one intervened. Night Sorrow knew that there were no other experts here. He let out a long whistle and called for the members of the god-slaying team to attack the City Lord mansion. Hearing Night Sorrow's call, Yun Huang and the others rushed over and started to attack the City Lord mansion. They started to kill and set fire to the City Lord mansion. Ji Yu and Yuandang didn't know what to do. Even if they wanted to dodge Yi Shang and attack the others, they couldn't, because Yi Shang was way too fast. Yi Shang's constantly flashing body blocked Ji Yu's way of retreating and attacking the others. When he felt that it was about time, Night Sorrow's Jinqi burst out, and he performed the 7 stars brilliant moon spear art. He even controlled the energy to a single point. Yuandang couldn't dodge, so he could only wave his sword to defend himself. Without making any sound, Yuandang's long sword was broken by Night Sorrow's spear. This was because this was the melting effect of the void attribute. When Yuandang's Jinqi was exhausted by the energy of Yuandang's long sword, Night Sorrow's myriad Dao Book's energy kept up. He continued to move forward and caught up with Yuandang, who was retreating, and directly thrust his spear into Yuandang's chest. As Night Sorrow's reincarnation spear burst out with the energy of the myriad Dao Book, Yuandang's internal organs and dantian were all shattered. I can't accept this. Looking at Night Sorrow, Yuandang's eyes were filled with unwillingness. So what if you can't accept this? You wanted to rob me, so you're destined to die. Night Sorrow pulled out the reincarnation spear, then with a shake of his hand he cut off Yuandang's finger that was wearing the storage ring, and took the storage ring in his hand. At this time, the other members of the God-slaying team quickly killed all the guards of the City Lord Mansion, emptied the warehouse, and set fire to it. Next stop, Ji Yu's ancestral land. Continue to kill along the way. Night Sorrow gave the order to the group of people. What happened next was even smoother. There was only one venerable in Ji Yu's ancestral land, whose cultivation level was lower than Yuandang's. Naturally, he was killed by Night Sorrow. Then, the group of people emptied the newly sent resources of Ji Yu's ancestral land, and set fire to the newly rebuilt ancestral land. This time, they were even more ruthless. They directly burned down all the gardens and buildings of Ji Yu's ancestral land. Ho Jian, Xueling, Yun Huang, you guys lead the team back. I'll dismantle the teleportation formation and cover the rear. After returning to the teleportation formation, Night Sorrow gave the order. Captain, you don't need me anymore? Ho Qingjie looked at Night Sorrow and asked. There's nothing else to do. I'll ride the Tianyu very quickly, so I'll be back soon. You guys can go now. Night Sorrow waved his hand at the group of people. After watching them teleport away, Night Sorrow looked at Ji Royal City, which was covered in flames. Night Sorrow knew that Ji Royal City was completely destroyed. It was useless for Ji Yu's family to rebuild it. This was because no one was willing to come here. It was easy to be caught in the flames of war. Not to mention outsiders, even the members of Ji Yu's family would reject Ji Royal City. After watching the members of the God-slaying team teleport away, Night Sorrow dismantled the teleportation formation. Then he rode the Tianyu and left as well. He flew toward the nearest strategic teleportation formation in Tianji Tower. If the others stayed behind to cover the rear, they could only use the traditional teleportation formation. However, Night Sorrow was different. He could use the Tianji Tower's strategic teleportation formation, which would save him a lot of time compared to the others. 2 days later, Night Sorrow arrived at the nearest strategic teleportation formation in Tianji Tower. He teleported to the Taiching region base in Tianji Tower and then returned to the city in the sky. When Night Sorrow arrived at the martial arts practice field, the other members were cultivating. They were not worried about Night Sorrow. After all, if they were not particularly powerful venerables, they would not be able to threaten Night Sorrow's safety. You're really fast, Ling Long glanced at Night Sorrow and said. She guessed that Night Sorrow had used the strategic teleportation formation to return. Did anyone get hurt? Night Sorrow asked. No, not even minor injuries. Moreover, we seized a lot of resources. Here are the alchemy materials. Nan Liyue took out a storage ring. Give the materials to 6th Senior Sister in the future. 6th Senior Sister, you can refine them when you're free. Call me if you're too busy. Night Sorrow looked at Aoi and said, he wanted to find something for Aoi to do so that she could have a sense of belonging in the team. This would also allow everyone to recognize Aoi more. Okay, I'll do it then. Aoi nodded. Of course, she understood Night Sorrow's intention. I have to refine pills too. I have to prepare some resources for Night Moon, Night Sorrow said with a smile. He had obtained a lot of resources from Jiyu and Yuan Dang's storage ring. Jiyu's family did not expect Ji Royal City to suffer a second blow, so they invested a lot in rebuilding it. All the resources were in Jiyu and Yuan Dang's hands. Of course, they now belonged to Night Sorrow. Then, Night Sorrow went to a corner of the martial arts practice field and started refining pills. He wanted to turn all the materials he could refine into pills. This way, it would be easier to categorize them and he could use them whenever he wanted. Before leaving after refining for a day, Night Sorrow threw a few more storage rings to Nan Liue. Everyone, if you don't have a storage ring, just give it to them. If you don't get one, don't worry. Everyone will have one. Captain is so domineering. Following Captain is like living a good life, Ho Jian said with a smile. Chapter 652. Genius 1 second. Remember love go divided by Shao? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. Night Sorrow cultivated peacefully. Yun Huang would sometimes go out to investigate if there were any suitable cities to attack. He was now addicted to robbing. Baidu search AI go female sign Shao, say, www.taichuxis. Sim. On this day, Night Sorrow had just arrived at the martial arts arena when Yun Huang returned. Captain, it's getting lively now. Jiyu's family is looking for you all over the world. The price for your arrest is the same as the other dynasties. Whatever. There's no difference between being wanted by one family and being wanted by several. Who knows who will feel the pain and who will feel the pain? Night Sorrow didn't care about this. However, almost all the cities of the major factions are guarded by mid-level venerables and above. It'll be very difficult to break in easily. Yun Huang sighed. It doesn't matter. We don't have a time limit. We can fight whenever we want. If they have the ability, they can keep watching. Now that mid-level venerables are watching, when we become venerables, we'll let their high-level venerables watch. Let's see if they can defend. Night Sorrow smiled. Knowing that his parents were fine, Night Sorrow's mentality had some invisible changes. He became much calmer and more cheerful. Yes, Captain is right. Let them watch. As long as they can't, we'll go and hurt them. Ling Long clapped. You're not like a woman at all. Yun Huang muttered. Actually, I'm very feminine, but not to you or the enemy. Do you understand? Ling Long glanced at Yun Huang with disdain. While watching everyone cultivate, Night Sorrow sorted out his medicinal pills and gave Nan Liue a few bottles of clear void pills. As for void pills, the god-slaying squad had enough in stock. Night Sorrow had just brought the girls back to the mansion when Yi Lingxie arrived. Night Sorrow personally brewed a pot of tea for Yi Lingxie. Sixth uncle, do you have any good news? It's all good news. The family has said that the date of your return will be brought forward by a large margin. Your parents have also urged this king to take good care of you. Ling Huan, Brother Wang has also sent word that you're not allowed to mess around. If you have the time, do research on a few direct descendants. After Yi Lingxie finished speaking, he laughed to himself. I'm going to fight on the night moon, not give birth on the night moon. Night Sorrow was speechless. He didn't know why his family would issue such an order. You have to understand. They are afraid. You are Night Moon's only direct descendant of the 5th generation. Your descendants are Night Moon's direct descendants. How could the elders of the clan not be worried? Said Yi Lingxie. I don't know how the direct descendants are divided. Could it be that I'm the only direct descendant of Night Moon's 5th generation? Night Sorrow said. It depends on your talent. You have to be able to use the true spatial rend. However, there aren't many Night Moon's direct descendants. Even the Emperor can do it, but the Prince's generation is far from it. The Prince's generation, which is the 4th generation, only has 2 people. Your father, Prince Wuo, can do it. The other is Prince Wuemo, who can barely do it. Prince Wuemo used a secret technique to raise his power. What's the current status of your bloodline talent? After explaining the situation, Yi Lingxie looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Speaking of this, I really need to discuss it with 6th uncle. All this time, my spatial rend was taught by Aunt Fei. It might be different from Night Moon's spatial rend. As for my bloodline talent, I've already activated the 5th one. The 6th one is even more difficult. It will take a long time. As for how long it will take, I can't say, said Night Sorrow. What did you say? Yi Lingxie stood up, his eyes filled with shock. 6th uncle, is there something wrong with what I said? My Aunt Fei is Lord Golden Phoenix. She knows people from Night Moon, so she knows a little about spatial rend. Is there anything wrong with that? Night Sorrow also stood up. Not that. You're saying that your 6th bloodline talent hasn't been activated. That's it. Say it again. Yi Lingxie shook his head, his eyes fixed on Night Sorrow. It's very difficult to activate the 6th bloodline talent. Does the family have a secret technique for this? Asked Night Sorrow. In the family, other than the Moon Empress, the other direct descendants only have 5 bloodline talent points. Even Brother Linghuan only has 5.5. If you ask this king how to activate the 6th bloodline talent point, how will this king answer you? Yi Lingxie sat down, but his eyes were still fixed on Night Sorrow. Then after the 6th, I'll figure it out myself. Night Sorrow was just asking. He didn't hold much hope. After the 6th? You mean there's more? Yi Lingxie's teacup trembled, spilling tea all over himself, but he didn't notice. Beneath my dragon bones, there are 7 bloodline talent points. But activating them is very difficult. Right now, I'm just in a natural state of cultivation. Night Sorrow nodded. Yi Lingxie stood up, his hands gripping Night Sorrow's arms. The Moon Empress only has 6 bloodline talent points, but you actually have 7. This is incredible. We have to inform the family. We have to inform the family. Also, this is something that only the few of us know about. Even if you beat us to death, we can't tell anyone else. This is a matter of life and death. The Moon Empress only has 6 bloodline talent points? Night Sorrow was shocked. He didn't understand what was going on. Let Granduncle check and confirm. Then report to the family. This is going to turn the heavens upside down. Yi Lingxie was a peak venerable, but he still couldn't control his emotions. Then, Yi Lingxie used his bloodline talent to sense Night Sorrow's bloodline talent points. Then he nodded. Remember, you can't tell anyone else about this. With that, Yi Lingxie left. He had to tell the family about this. It seems my situation is different from the other members of the family. Night Sorrow thought for a moment. You're more talented than the Moon Empress. This is an incredible matter. Yang Lei nodded. 13th junior brother, it's best to keep this a secret. Otherwise, the enemy will do anything to deal with you. I was a bit worried. 6th senior sister, 9th senior sister, I want to ask you something. The Night Moon dynasty has ruled the Grand Clarity domain for a long time. Why is it only the 5th generation? Night Sorrow asked, puzzled. Want you more? No. The hashtag fastest beyond E, that's not how it's calculated. Some sects and forces count the generations according to their most outstanding members. The Moon Emperor is the most outstanding, so his children are naturally the 2nd generation. They have nothing to do with the previous generation. Of course, such iconic figures have to be outstanding. Other sects and forces count the living members as the 1st generation. In short, it's not the same. Sikong Chuyu explained to Yishang. I understand now. Right now, we have to work hard to increase our strength. The most important thing is to turn potential into strength. Night Sorrow nodded. Chapter 653. Genius remembers love in 1 second/small? We provide you with wonderful novels to read. In the mansion of Jiyu family in Qingtian City, Jiyu Haitian was so angry that he smashed the main hall of the family. He simply couldn't control his anger. Ji Royal City was destroyed once again, completely destroyed. There was no need to rebuild it. The cost of rebuilding it was even more expensive than building a new city. However, this wasn't what made Jiyu Haitian angry the most. What made him most angry was that Jiyu Fenglan had disappeared. He had asked around and found out that Jiyu family had exchanged for the spirit fluid of life. However, Jiu Fenglan didn't give it to him and directly disappeared with all the resources and space crystals stored in the family. How could Jiu Haitian not understand such a situation? He knew that Jiu Fenglan wanted him to recover and rise again, which made him very angry. Therefore, he directly sent people to do the task. He must exchange for the spirit fluid of life and space crystals. In addition, Jiu Haitian also searched everywhere for Jiu Fenglan. However, he couldn't find him for a while and gave up. If Jiu Fenglan deliberately hid, he wouldn't be able to find him. In an inconspicuous mansion in a small city located in Qingtian realm, Jiu Hao had been cultivating himself with great effort. He was brought here by Jiu Fenglan. Jiu Fenglan didn't want the turmoil in the family to affect Jiu Hao. Jiu Hao already knew that Ji Royal City was destroyed by Night Sorrow and the others, which made him very angry. However, with Jiu Fenglan's order, he didn't dare to go out. Helplessly, Jiu Hao turned his anger into the motivation for his cultivation. Night Sorrow worked hard to improve his cultivation base. When he was tired, he would go to the god-slaying team to chat with them, drink tea, or go to the lake to cultivate. Night Sorrow also cut down a big tree and built a small boat. When he wasn't cultivating, he would go to the boat and let it drift, while he brewed tea and watched the scenery. Night Moon was safe and sound at the moment. His family was safe and sound, so he had nothing to worry about. If there were any hidden worries, he was worried about Tai Chuan of the Medicine Valley. However, he could only wait until he became a venerable before going there. Yiling Lan knew that Night Sorrow liked to sail a boat on the lake, so he found a craftsman to build a simple yet stylish wooden boat for Night Sorrow. There was a room at one end and a tea table and rocking chair at the other end. It was very well made for Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow didn't reject it. Anyway, it was already done, and it wasn't hard. He could just use it. Yang Lei, Aoi, and Sikong Chuyu would accompany Night Sorrow to drink tea and chat when they were not cultivating. Only T version, it/all M is %8 pirate T version +4 because he had the small boat to rest, drink tea, and meditate. Night Sorrow didn't have much time to return to the mansion. When Night Sorrow finished cultivating again, Yilingxie came. "Sixth uncle, come and have some tea." Night Sorrow waved at Yilingxie. After sitting down, Yilingxie said to Night Sorrow, "There's some good news. Prince Wuyo used the life spirit fluid and his body is fine. Also, Brother Ling Huan's old injuries have completely healed. He's gone into seclusion to make the final push." "That's great. I don't have anything to worry about," Night Sorrow said happily. "The emperors and Brother Ling Huan have given orders to you again. This king is to make sure you don't mess around." Yilingxie was also very happy. "That's good. The ancestors of the family are Night Moon's foundation. Since they're fine, everything else is easy to handle," Night Sorrow said with a smile. "Yes, that's why Sixth Uncle is also happy. Also, Sixth Uncle has communicated with the Yun dynasty and passed Brother Ling Huan's letter to the Yun dynasty monarch. They will do their best to help us stabilize the situation. Later, Sixth Uncle will go and make other connections to stabilize the situation completely," Yilingxie said. "Sixth Uncle, I still have something I need your help with. I've proposed marriage to the Sikong family, but without the elders of the family present, the engagement ceremony can't go on. If Uncle feels that it's okay and feels that you can make an appearance, then I'll go and call for Father Gu, who raised me. With the two of you present, the engagement ceremony can go on," Yishang said. "Okay, that's great. Do this immediately. Otherwise, if you have a child first, it'll be bad for your reputation. As long as you're engaged, having a child will be justified. When do you leave?" After hearing Night Sorrow's words, Yilingxie became excited. He was very concerned about whether or not Night Moon's direct descendants would have any descendants. "I'm going back to the Eastern Profound Domain to pick up Father Gu who raised me. I'll go to the Medicine Valley of the Eastern Profound Domain first to hold the engagement ceremony. Ninth senior sister hasn't held an engagement ceremony yet," Night Sorrow said after thinking for a while. "We'll do as you say. Also, Sixth Uncle wants to meet Golden Phoenix. We still have some friendship in the past." Sixth Uncle also contributed to the matter of the first base in the Empyrean Tower. Sixth uncle also has some acquaintances in the Empyrean Tower. He also needs to communicate with them, Yi Lingxie said. Then we'll set off immediately, Night Sorrow said. Yi Lingxie wasn't a sloppy person. He directly returned to the mansion with Night Sorrow and communicated with the women. Aoi also had to attend Night Sorrow's engagement ceremony because she was his junior brother and his junior sister. They were both the most important family members. After informing the others, Night Sorrow, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chu put on their masks while Aoi and Yi Lingxie put on their veils. The group took the teleportation array and left Sky City. If it weren't for Yi Lingxie, Night Sorrow would have taken everyone directly to Tianji Tower's strategic teleportation array. However, Yi Lingxie was Night Moon's subordinate. If they took the strategic teleportation array directly, it would be disrespectful to Tianji Tower. Night Sorrow didn't want to do that. After exiting the teleportation array of the Taiqing Domain's mansion, Night Sorrow's group arrived at the teleportation array of the Taiqing Domain. Upon seeing Night Sorrow, Yang Lei, and Sikong Chuyu's masks, the guards of Taiqing City let them in without asking any questions. After arriving at the Qingtian Domain, Night Sorrow hesitated for a moment before telling Sikong Chuyu about the situation. They had to bring Father Gu with them for the engagement ceremony. They would start in the Medicine Valley. I'm fine. Don't think so little of me, Sikong Chuyu said with a smile. That's good. I hope you can call me Auntie Fei too, Night Sorrow said. Yes, of course. Yang Lei nodded. Then, the group continued to teleport. Night Sorrow originally thought that they would have to fly to pass through the blank areas without teleportation arrays. To his surprise, because of the development of the Eastern Xian region's base, Tianji Tower had set up some public teleportation arrays that could directly teleport them to the Realm Sea. The number of teleportation arrays in the Taiyue domain had also increased. The blank areas had also been filled. In other words, they could teleport directly without the need for a strategic teleportation array. Night Sorrow was very satisfied with this situation. Recently, he had been using the strategic teleportation array, so he didn't know about the changes in the situation outside. After arriving at Dongxian City, they took off their masks. We'll rest at the mansion tonight. We'll return to Danding City tomorrow. Looking at the sky, Night Sorrow announced his decision. He wanted to invite Wu Lingfei to his engagement ceremony. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.